as you can hear the teams coming out now. It's a freezing cold afternoon at Turf Moor, but could this game be the start of a Santa rally heading into the festive season for one of these teams? It's Burnley versus West Ham, exclusive to Talksport 2, with your commentary team of former Sunderland defender Mickey Gray. But first, Ian Danter.
Thank you, John, and a very good afternoon to you wherever and however you're listening to us on Talksport 2. So 3 international breaks done and dusted in September, October and November, and still no Premier League manager has been relieved of his duties. Even Vincent Kompany, who's failed to register a single point here at Turf Moor in his first 6 games back in the Premier League as a manager this time, haven't yielded a point, but that hasn't seemingly eked the pressure on the Belgian manager. Indeed, minority owner JJ Watt has flown over from the United States to be here today. He's been pulling pints for Burnley supporters in the Royal Dyche this lunchtime, and all of his words have been very positive towards the team. So can Vincent Kompany and Burnley act on that positive stance that their board is taking and ease their way towards picking up their first points here at Turf Moor? They're up against the West Ham side who've lost their last 3 away in the Premier League, but have shown some decent form in recent competitions, beating Olympiacos and Nottingham Forest back-to-back in Europa League and Premier League heading into the international break. David Moyes, a manager with bags more experience than Vincent Kompany, 7 months to go on his West Ham contract before it expires, of course, and West Ham do go into a new era. What can they do this afternoon to prolong Burnley's misery here in Lancashire? Well, Burnley are unchanged from the last game that they played before the break. That was down at Arsenal. We brought that to you live here on Talksport 2. Ended up 3-1 to Arsenal. It may well be a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-4-2. We'll see how it pans out for Burnley once we get underway. But they have James Trafford in goal, Vitinho, Dara O'Shea, Jordan Bayer and Charlie Taylor in their back 4. Sander Berger and Josh Brownhill will form the basis of a 4-2-3-1, with Johan Berg Gudmundsson, Zeki Amdouni and Luca Koleosho in behind Jay Rodriguez in attack. One change for West Ham United: no Mikel Antonio in the squad, no Jarrod Bowen, both players picking up injuries on international duty, which is a blow to David Moyes. But a former Claret comes in. Danny Ings played here for Burnley and made a number of appearances, 130, and scored 42 goals in his time as a Burnley player. He comes in for Bowen in West Ham's only change from that win against the Tricky Trees. So Alphonse Areola, who's been the #1 goalkeeper all season, in front of him a back 4 of Vladimir Soufal, Kurt Zouma, Naif Aguerd and Emerson, Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse are the holding midfielders, and then Mohamed Kudus, Thomas Soucek and Lucas Paquetá supporting Danny Ings in attack. Coin toss being sorted. Kurt Zouma and Josh Brownhill are the 2 skippers today, and our referee is Sam Barrett. This only his 5th Premier League game, fast-tracked by the PGMOL. It only seems like yesterday I watched him refereeing the FA Vase final at Wembley back in 2022. He's only 30 years of age, Mick. There was something I used to worry when players got younger than me. Then I was worried when managers got younger than me, and then now referees are younger than me.
Well, it's a big day for him, Dance, isn't it? I think any time you're refereeing a game in the Premier League, every single eye in this stadium and around the country are on you because of the scrutiny, what's been happening, and certainly not just this season, the season before as well, and maybe even before that with VAR as well. But big occasion, big day. He knows what's at stake, and let's hope he just lets the game flow and we have a cracking game.
Ready for kick-off on Talksport 2, a beautiful late autumn, early winter afternoon with the sun just setting behind the rolling Lancashire hills opposite us. We're sat right at the top of the north stand, the main stand here at Burnley. The Jimmy McElroy to our left, the cricket field end to our right-hand side, and the Bob Lord opposite where the dugouts are. Vincent Kompany already prowling the edge of his technical area. And Burnley, wearing their claret and blue, will get us underway this afternoon, kicking from left to right as we look towards the cricket end. Of course, West Ham can't wear their claret and blue, so they're in their all-white change strip this afternoon. Keep you in touch with goals going in elsewhere this afternoon here on Talksport 2. plenty of Premier League action and EFL games and matches in Scotland. And Burnley looking to pick up their first point at least at Turf Moor this afternoon. They've won once this season. That was a game I was at Luton Town, where they won with a late Jakob Brun Larsen screamer. He's one of the Burnley substitutes. Ball's out of play inside the first 30 seconds for West Ham to have a throw that Vladimir Soufal will take over on the far side of the field. Looking to get Danny Ings away against his old club, but that's dealt with by Jordan Bayer. Volleyed by Brownhill towards halfway, but that's kept in possession by Edson Alvarez, this really tall, rangy-looking Mexican defensive midfielder, now in the West Ham midfield. Rodriguez for Burnley, knocks the ball down to Goodmanson, gives it back to Rodriguez, just couldn't control the ball as it bobbled over his foot towards the halfway line, and West Ham have it back at 0-0 with a minute gone, and Zuma will look for his keeper Areola.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the game, Dance, hasn't it? Certainly from West Ham, and I think we know the way they're going to set up. Look, they play some nice football, but I think by the end of this game, you're looking at O'Shea and you're looking at Bayer, the two centre-halves for Burnley, and I think tomorrow afternoon they're probably going to have sore heads, because they're going to try and get the ball up as quick as they possibly can to Danny Ings, and when you think you've got the aerial threat of people like Souček as well, in running in behind him as well, it's going to be a physical game, and it's who's up for that fight this afternoon.
Paquetá receives the ball down the left-hand side for West Ham, just lobs it into the area, headed towards goal by Souček, but he just headed the ball up in the air and didn't get the purchase he wanted. Lovely invention by Lucas Paquetá on this left-hand side, just to lob the ball into the area. Souček made a great run, but just couldn't apply the header he wanted. 0-0.
Yeah, and I just talked about that physical presence there as well, and it's quite alarming, isn't it? Look, what 2 minutes into the game, and Souček's getting himself running in from that midfield area, getting himself into the 18-yard box, and he's got acres of space. Look, it was a very difficult header. He had to get a lot of leverage on it and a lot of pace on the header, and it was quite hard because there was no pace on the cross. But if you're a centre-half, you've got to get touch tight, as I would call it. Don't give your forward any chance of giving him half a yard just to get any shot on target.
Bayer out to the left-hand side for Burnley. Charlie Taylor runs in to the challenger of Mohamed Kudus, so it goes out of play for a throw bang on halfway to Burnley. Sent back in field. And now Dara O'Shea, the other centre-half for the Clarets, looks into the centre circle for the captain, Brownhill. Brownhill finds Goodmanson just to his right, again, just on the halfway line. Patient build-up from Burnley in these early stages. And it's back with Jordan Bayer once again, who I think the stats show, Mickey, Burnley are more likely to concede less with him in the team as part of any centre-half pairing.
Yeah, no, he's a very good player, but you can't do it all on your own. As I mentioned earlier, you've got to have players alongside you who are doing their jobs. You've got to look for your teammates, if you like, to be that 7 or 8 out of 10. If you're not, as an individual, it's impossible to do. Amdouni
out to the left-hand side. Here's the lively Luca Koleosho on the left-hand side. Works it back to the halfway line, and it's with Dara O'Shea right on the centre spot. Looks up and floats the ball out to the left-hand side, and Amdouni does well to keep it in play. Gets to the left-hand corner of the box. It's deflected away by West Ham, but comes back to Taylor. Taylor wins a corner at the cricket stand end as Nottingham Forest take an early lead against Brighton. Anthony Elanga with the first goal in the Premier League 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon, and a corner here to Burnley at Turf Moor, 0-0.
Yeah, good opportunity there for Burnley. Worked the ball really well down the left-hand side with Charlie Taylor, and I think as a fullback you just got to get your head down and whip that ball into the box whenever you get the opportunity. Great play from the fullbacks.
Brownhill with the corner into the near post, headed out by Paquetá to the edge of the area, driven back in towards goal. It was Johan Berg Goodmanson who just fancied a shy from the left-hand corner of the box, but it was straight at Alphonse Areola. Could just clutch it to his chest and fire it downfield. Decent chance though for Burnley, 4 gone, 0-0.
Yeah, they've started the game really bright, and I think you can hear through our microphones here that the supporters are certainly getting behind them. They look a little bit more patient than I've seen them in the past, certainly at the beginning of this season as well. The build-up play is very good, and you can see Rodriguez, if he's the last man, he's playing up front, he's looking to play on shoulders, trying to get in behind. He hasn't been involved in the game and much as we've gone so far, but you look at him, you think, okay, there might be opportunities for him today if he's saving his energy.
That's Mickey Gray alongside me, Ian Dante, this afternoon here at Turf Moor. Just the last few shafts of sunlight poking over the hills opposite us. It'll soon be starting to get a little bit darker and therefore a little bit colder here at Turf Moor this afternoon, but a full house, as you get so often here at Burnley these days. It finished Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1, and the Talksport game we brought you earlier. We've got another live game for you on Talksport 2 at tea time. West Brom against Ipswich in the Championship, so stay with us once this game has finished. West Ham coming forward. Paquetá can't get away from balls given away needlessly there in the right back position by Vitinho. Ball back into the box but cleared away by Burnley, but West Ham have it back. Ward-Prowse guides it down to Soufal. Now Kudus whips a lovely ball in left-footed. Paquetá nods it down looking for a player on the penalty spot, but the only person who was there was Sander Berge of Burnley, who just lumped it clear, and now the ball's out of play. But West Ham starting to find a few holes that they can run into there, Mickey Gray. 0-0.
It's Burnley's own fault. You know, Vitinho's got the opportunity as that ball just falls to him kindly just outside of the 18-yard box, just to get his laces through it and clear his lines, take the pressure off your back line. When you don't do that, West Ham have got the quality and the players that will punish you. I mean, kudos there. I love that from a wide play. Look, left footer playing on the right hand side, looks for that half a yard, whips the ball into the box. As a centre forward, you know that ball's coming into the box, so you make that run. That must be absolutely fantastic to have wide players like that if you're a striker.
Burnley have faced 8 of last season's top 10 in their first 12 Premier League fixtures, which might be a bit of a guide as to why they just haven't been able to get themselves the points quota that they would like. But I think there's a fair few Burnley supporters coming here today looking at West Ham having lost their last 3 away in the top flight and thinking this is a proper opportunity to get something to hold on to.
Absolutely, Dance, you're right. And you know, the way they started the game, there's certainly going to be opportunities for Burnley, there's no question of that.
Bayer steps forward from the centre half, gets the ball just before Danny Ings, and now Brownhill in the centre circle, fires it into the feet of Amdouni. Neat turn from Zeki Amdouni, and then Taylor tries to release Koleosho down the left hand side, but it was a super interception by Vladimir Soufal, and now a free kick to West Ham just shy of the halfway line. In League 1, Peterborough 1, Burton Albion 0. Joe Randall for the Posh. And in the Championship, Stoke 0, Blackburn 1. One of Mickey's former sides in front. Blackburn hit the front through Scott Wharton at the Bet365. And Peterborough started the day in 5th in League 1. Portsmouth and Mansfield still unbeaten in the EFL. They're both in action this afternoon. Wrexham 1, Morecambe 0 in League 2. Joel Sini with an own goal to put Wrexham ahead at the racecourse. 0-0 here with 8 minutes gone on Talksport 2 at Turf Moor. Burnley in possession with Josh Brownhill. Back to Charlie Taylor, and he will in turn give the ball back to James Trafford, this youngster signed from Manchester City in July for £15 million. Dara O'Shea, midway point of his own half, plays a square ball in field to Bayer, got everything in front of him, plays a short pass to Sander Berge, and Berge gives it back to the German centre half, who trots up near to the halfway line, squares it left for Charlie Taylor. Now Koleosho's come a bit short to try and have a run down the left hand side as he moves into the West Ham half. Tucked in field for Sander Berge by the centre circle. Now Goodmanson, lazy layoff, picked off quite comfortably by Lucas Paquetá, and he looks to float it downfield to try and release Ings, but it's hit too long and too straight and claimed by Trafford. 0-0.
Well, he's a fortunate man, Goodmanson, giving the ball away in a silly area in the centre circle there, because we know the quality that West Ham have. They're going to pounce on chances like that. I think it was just over this left hand side, Paquetá, he was waiting and waiting for that run. It was, you know, Danny Ings was there, you could see in front of him, and the Souček was trying to break his neck to try and get alongside him as well. Just needed that little bit of quality. The football's been good, I have to say, from both sides, but the final third, Dan, is where we're kind of looking at both sides and thinking, just need a little bit more now. It's a little bit tentative in that final third for both teams.
You're listening to Talksport 2 on game day. We had a brilliant match for you to kick off our live commentaries this weekend, and it ended all square at the Etihad between Manchester City and Liverpool, 1 apiece. It's level here, 0-0. We've played 10 minutes at Turf Moor. West Ham have the ball at the back with Kurt Zouma. Soufal rolls the ball up to the halfway line, down the far side for Kudus, who's got Charlie Taylor all over him, not giving him an inch of space, but it is a West Ham throw. Edson Alvarez turns away. It's the first time I've had the chance to watch Edson Alvarez live, who's had a lot of good things said about him in terms of his defensive midfield capabilities, Mickey.
Yeah, he's a very good player. He's got energy to burn as well. He's got that quality. If you give him the chance in that final third as well, I think he's already got a couple of assists this season as well. Got himself on the score sheet, so there's no question he's been a really good signing for David Moyes.
Headed away by Burnley towards the halfway line, but there is Alvarez, just to nod the ball down, gets it back from Paquetá, has to play it back into his own half to Soufal, the right back. Again, he looks to thread it down the far right-hand channel for Kudus, and then Kudus realised he was running out of room and played a lovely crossfield pass into Aguerd, and Aguerd plays a left-footed ball over the top, looking to get Souček in behind. Burnley win it back, and it's with Zeki Amdouni, who can drift out towards the far touchline in front of the technical areas, just nicks it over halfway for Koleosho. Koleosho into the edge of the centre circle. Sander Berge quite calmly picks up possession with white West Ham shirts all around him. Now it's played out to Vitinho on the right hand side. Vitinho shaped to shoot with his right, gets onto his left at the edge of the D, plays into the box. It won't drop for Amdouni. Kurt Zouma did well, and West Ham clear their lines, but you can hear the Burnley fans encouraged by that move. 0-0.
Excellent play, really good build-up play there from Burnley. They were patient on the ball. Looked like Sanderberg was going to get the ball nicked off him in that central area, but he was clever, played a lovely ball over to this right hand side. Just needed a better touch, didn't it, from Vitinho. Played a nice little ball eventually into the box, and when it did fall to Amdouni, centre forwards, that first touch is just, it's so clinical, it's crucial to get it right, and he did not.
Amdouni again up to the edge of the area. Goodmanson holding it up out to the left hand side where Koleosho's got a bit of space, takes it onto his right foot. The cross is cleared by Kurt Zouma somewhat awkwardly, but he got a good distance on the clearance, and Paquetá holds it up under pressure from Sander Berge, and then he's lost it. No foul, says the referee. Berge plays it to the right hand side. Rodriguez across the face of goal, and no one could tuck it away. It was Amdouni that was closest of all. Rodriguez could have shot for goal himself, but he sent it across the face of goal, and sliding in, Zeki Amdouni just couldn't connect. 0-0, goal kick.
Well, what is Paquetá doing? He knows he's got 2 or 3 players around him. He's just got to lay the ball off. He loses the ball. Yeah, rightly so, it's not a foul. When that ball eventually works over to that right hand side, and you're right, Dance, I think a confident centre forward takes that shot on. It's not a difficult angle. He just actually plays a lovely ball into the box, but I think it's the wrong decision. You've got to take a strike on goal. If you're a centre forward, score goals, take a shot on.
0-0 here. Sheffield United 0, Bournemouth 1 in the Premier League. Marcus Tavernier puts Bournemouth ahead at Bramall Lane. Milton Keynes lead at Salford by a 1-0, and Alexander Isak has just given Newcastle the lead against Chelsea. MK Dons lead at Salford. Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 1, so that unbeaten record under threat already at Fratton Park, as Blackpool lead through Owen Dale, and Wrexham have doubled their lead against Morecambe. Paul Mullin inevitably on the score sheet for the Dragons. 0-0 at Turf Moor. Ball given away on halfway by Amdouni. And there's Kudus riding a couple of challenges. Stayed on his feet as much as he could, but the referee Sam Barrett quite rightly brought play back for the chop on Kudus as he got to the edge of the centre circle before he released the ball. Didn't find a teammate, so it's a free kick to West Ham. 13 gone, 0-0.
Really good refereeing, I have to say. You know, Sam Barrett, you know, he's trying to make the game flow as much as he possibly can. If he sees a foul and he has to pull it back 2 or 3 seconds after, then rightly so. No, it's absolutely brilliant. I love to see that, because it was a good move from West Ham and they had a great opportunity down this left-hand side, but that final pass again from Kudus just wasn't right.
Here is Emerson for West Ham, right down beneath our commentary position. We're right on the very back row of this north stand, which I remember being called the James Hargreaves stand for many years here at Turf Moor. The cricket ground to our right, where the square's been sort of closed off whilst they relay the pitch in the winter. They do call it the Jimmy Anderson end. I'm sure he's here today, one of England's greatest ever fast bowlers. And we have live cricket for you next month on Talksport 2, exclusive commentaries of England's ODI and T20 series against West Indies in the Caribbean. That starts next month Make sure you keep Talksport 2 on your presets, on your car stereo or on your radios at home, so you can tune in to ball-by-ball commentary with no adverts of the 3 ODIs, the 5 T20s. All starts on the 3rd of December. Lots of content on our brand new YouTube cricket channel as well. Plenty of Talksport YouTube footage, including our brand new cricketing channel. 0-0 at Turf Moor. We played a quarter of an hour, and West Ham have the ball at the feet of their goalkeeper. Alphonse Areola floats the ball out to the right-hand side. Kudus shows great strength to bring it down, then jinks in between a couple of players and centres it for Ward-Prowse. Early ball for Paquetá, lets the ball run across his body. Delightful from Lucas Paquetá. Gets it back from Emerson, then just dinks it down the left-hand side of the area. Ward-Prowse appears to have stayed onside. Now it's Paquetá again looking for a no-eyes pass to get Emerson away, but Burnley have won it back. Goodmanson looking early to try and release Koleosho in a race with Soufal. He'll beat Soufal to that, level with the edge of the area. Koleosho rides the challenge of Soufal, now running towards the edge of the box, and then passed to, well, he actually passed straight to Soufal. I'm not sure who he was looking for, but West Ham have won it back, 0-0.
Well, he showed brilliant pace dance, didn't he? Over on that left-hand side, Koleosho. He certainly got the beating of Soufal in a 1v1, but you have to show better quality. Charlie Taylor's made a brilliant run outside him on the left-hand side. It was that reverse pass, the no-look pass, if you like, and he just needed to find him.
Mickey Gray alongside me, Ian Danter here at Turf Moor. 0-0 the score. Vitinho down the right-hand side for Burnley. Puts an early ball into the box, and Areola claims it as it comes out to his 6-yard line, and it stays 0-0. Areola displacing Lucas Fabianski is the West Ham number 1. Was on loan initially from Paris Saint-Germain before making his move permanent. Out to the right-hand side, he passes for Soufal. Little flick infield from Kudus. Gets away with it. It was almost picked off by Burnley. And again, great skill from Kudus to find Souček in the centre circle. Immediately sees where Lucas Paquetá is. Paquetá floats the ball across the area. Alvarez has come forward, has kept possession, right on the dead ball line on the right-hand side. Plays the ball around Jordan Bayer, but Charlie Taylor picks up the loose ball and clears. But Mohamed Kudus is already showing some really fine, deft touches out there for West Ham. 0-0.
Yeah, he certainly is, Dan. I mean, there's no question he's a talent, isn't he? And, you know, you want to watch him play every time he picks up that ball. You're thinking, what's he going to do next? Well, because he's kind of strong with his left foot, he loves to cut inside, but he's got an eye for a pass as well. And I think David Moyes will be saying to his other players, look, get him involved in the game a little bit more. I think Vincent Kompany's thrilled to pieces the start that Burnley have made. Look, they haven't really been a massive threat in the final third, but the football that they're playing, they're getting themselves into good areas. I think you just need Rodriguez and probably Unduni just to make those runs into that 6-yard box, because the ball is coming into the box. And absolutely, I think he'd be thrilled to pieces, the home manager. Absolutely. 0-0 the score. Crewe 0, Doncaster 1 in League 2. Mo Fowl on loan from West Bromwich Albion has put Doncaster ahead, and West Brom are our next live commentary here on Talksport 2 against high-flying Ipswich at 5:30. But West Brom have been playing some smashing stuff lately under Carlos Corberán. Dundee 0, Hibs 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Yair Tavares for the Hibs. Now on halfway, West Ham in possession at 0-0 with James Ward-Prowse. Once again overlooked for the England squad that was picked for the last international break. Slides it out to the dangerous Kudus on the right-hand side. Gets towards the right-hand corner of the penalty area, then drifts away from it, back towards the centre of the half. Then he's gone again down the right flank. Will he keep it in play? He does, and decides not to try and do anything clever. Just prevents a corner and gives Burnley a throw-in down by the corner flag. It wasn't the best ball, was it, from Soufal over on that right-hand side? Just got a little bit too much pace on it. It was a nice little run from Kudus, but with him being strong on his left foot, he has to go back towards the byline. I think he was just clever, keeping the ball in play and keeping the pressure on Burnley in their own half. And they're starting to gradually grow into the game. James Ward-Prowse hasn't had the best of starts, but look, he's just not been involved in the football match so far. But now he's had a couple of touches, and you can see he's starting to get that little bit of confidence behind him.
You're listening to Burnley 0, West Ham 0 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Tottenham against Aston Villa and Everton versus Manchester United live tomorrow for £11.99 with no contract. Search Now Sports for all the details. Swansea lead Hull in the Championship down at the Swansea.com Stadium. Jamie Patterson putting the Swans ahead in the Championship. Ball's back on the midway point of the Burnley half with Jordan Bayer. Taylor being watched by Kudus, elects to roll the ball all the way back to his goalkeeper, James Trafford. Grimsby lead lowly Sutton in League 2 by a goal to nil. Record Pike for Grimsby, who themselves are not that far above the dreaded dotted line between the Football League and the National League. Now here comes Dara O'Shea up to the halfway line, tried to play it out to the right wing for Goodmanson, but Paquetá just stuck out a boot and diverted it out for a throw right down beneath us. Colchester lead Barrow by a goal to nil. Matthew Etherington now, of course, in charge at Colchester, and Cameron McGeehan has given them the lead at the job serve. That's a long way, isn't it? Yeah. For Barrow fans all the way down to Colchester. Well, isn't it Plymouth Sunderland today? Yeah, long way for the Sunderland fans to go today down to
them journeys down. We used to do it in 2 days. Stop halfway, train,
feed
stay in a hotel,
feed the horses, and then start the carriages again, right?
It was a train. Well, they fly everywhere now, don't they, the players? So yes. it's not too bad. We were on a coach.
I think we've got to start doing that, put demands into Talksport management.
I thought you meant Birmingham, sorry, because they're now posh, I thought.
No, well, we're posh, but we're not that posh. Leyton Orient 1, Wigan Athletic 0. Shaq Ford puts Leyton Orient ahead in League 1. It's 0-0 here in the Premier League. We played 21 minutes on Talksport 2 at Turf Moor. It's been nip and tuck between Burnley and West Ham United, and there's been half chances. Souček with a looping header that he couldn't control, that would have been difficult for Burnley to deal with had it been on target, and Rodriguez with a cross shot. Now, lovely ball from Dario O'Shea to Van Kolioshu. He goes down at the edge of the area. Nothing doing, says the referee. West Ham clear their lines up towards the halfway line, but Bayer shows more strength than Danny Ings, and the Clarets have it back. Vitinho flicks it out to this near side for Goodmanson. Goodmanson surrounded by white West Ham shirts, and they take the ball off him. Norwich 1, QPR 0 in the Championship. Hwang scores for Norwich at Carrow Road. Got their first win in 7 at Cardiff last time out. Norwich to ease the pressure on David Wagner. And Crawley lead Harrogate by a goal to nil in League 2. Ben Gladwin. 0-0 here. Burnley in possession on halfway with Charlie Taylor. Out to the left-hand side, and Koliosho just in front of the West Ham bench. Then it's driven by Charlie Taylor all the way out to this near side to find Johan Berg Goodmanson. Didn't have to break his stride to pick it up, but he'll just lay it off to Dario O'Shea on the halfway line. Gets it back from Jordan Bayer, looks up and plays a short pass into his captain Brownhill. Brownhill knew that Kudus was thundering in at him, so Burnley have dropped a little deeper back into their own half with the ball at their feet. 23 gone, we're midway through the first period. Now you can hear the Burnley supporters wanting a bit more invention from their players, and then as soon as I say that, Charlie Taylor gives the ball up to Kudus, and the ball goes out of play for a West Ham throw. 0-0.
See, Dan, you're sat alongside me and you're seeing the football that Burnley playing right now. Look, they averaged about 550 passes in games last season, which is fantastic. But at the end of it, there was an end product, which you certainly want. You see the top sides in the Premier League, a lot of possession, but there's always something, there's an end goal. Now with Burnley, they get themselves in a build-up play up until that final third is fantastic, but, and this is no disrespect to people like Jay Rodriguez, but is he good enough to get the 15-20 goals that are going to keep you in the Premier League? Because it's the only thing that's missing from their play, and that's probably what's frustrating Vincent Kompany.
Well, we shouldn't forget, of course, Lyle Foster, and our wishes continue to go out to him for a speedy recovery. Mental health issues means that the South African is not available for selection for Burnley at the moment, and he's their top scorer with 3 goals in the Premier League. Talking of Premier League goals, Raheem Sterling's just got one for Chelsea to equalise at Newcastle. Bending shot from a free kick into the roof of the net. It's 1-1 at St James's Park. Here on Talksport 2 at Turf Moor, it's 0-0. Rodriguez can't keep the ball in play, and it's a throw to West Ham United, bang on the halfway line.
How's he not getting in the England squad?
Well, there's another one, like Ward-Prowse, isn't it? Raheem Sterling. Answers on an email to 1G Southgate, please. Well, he's got till March to show what he can do week in, week out, and then maybe if he's still playing brilliantly come the next games in March against Brazil and whatnot, then...
Well, just cutting away from the game briefly, Dance, if we can. Look, you've just watched those 2 international games.
Yeah.
And it was crying out for somebody like even a James Ward-Prowse, even Raheem Sterling, that burst of pace, just to give everybody a bit of a boost. And I just don't... It baffles me how these players are not getting in the squad.
It's easy for me to say we miss Bellingham, but that's just because I'm biased.
Yeah.
Ball's out of play.
Yeah.
Could be a long trip back for your fellow Sunderland fans. Plymouth 1, Sunderland 0. Morgan Whittaker has given Plymouth the lead at Home Park, and elsewhere in the Championship, Swansea have doubled the lead against Hull. Jerry Yates makes it Swansea 2, Hull City 0. 0-0 at Turf Moor in our commentary game here on Talksport 2. Burnley desperate to pick up something for their own supporters to feed on. Remember, they've lost all 6 games they've had here so far. West Ham just 1 clean sheet in the Premier League though this season, so Burnley might take heart from that as Dara O'Shea strides forward to the halfway line. Brighton equalise at Nottingham Forest through the man we spoke about before kick-off, Evan Ferguson. That's 1-1 at the City Ground. Elsewhere in the Premier League, 0-0 here with 26 minutes gone. West Ham have shown some neat touches, and they're keeping Burnley largely at arm's length. Zuma just drops his shoulder to get away from Rodriguez for a moment, and then Alvarez looks back for his left back. Emerson back for the goalkeeper, who tries a Cruyff turn and, well, very nearly presented the ball straight to a Burnley player, but Areola got the ball clear in the end. Heart-in-mouth moment for the West Ham keeper, Mickey Gray.
It certainly was, Dance, and I know you're leaning around corners to actually try and see what the goalkeeper was up to there from West Ham, because it's difficult from where we are, but you don't need to give your opposition a little lifeline like that and thinking, right, we've got half a chance here, but he did well in the end.
Here's Koleosho for Burnley, getting up to the edge of the area. Rodriguez picks it up with his back to goal, 25 yards out, plays it to the right-hand corner of the area, and Vitinho, he tucks it infield for Brownhill. Brownhill will give it back to Vitinho. Still on the right-hand side, short pass for Goodmanson. Goodmanson tries to roll his foot on the ball, and that allowed Souček to take the ball off him and get the ball away for West Ham. Ward-Prowse flicks it out to this near touchline for Emerson, and Emerson just trying to chip the ball in field. Couldn't find a teammate. Burnley have it back. Sander Berger carrying the ball over the halfway line. Plays it out to the left-hand side for the lively American Luca Koleosho. Here's Berger again. Signed from Sheffield United in the summer. As you've heard, Sheffield United trailing at home to Bournemouth in one of the other 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon in the Premier League. Forward ball from Goodmanson, trying to find Rodriguez. Only half cleared. Drops for Amdouni at the edge of the box. Can he set up Koleosho? Koleosho! Shot beaten out by Areola, but it comes back to Koleosho in the left wing. Has to set up Charlie Taylor, and eventually Burnley go back to halfway. Areola forced to make a save from Luca Koleosho at 0-0.
Yeah, it's super play, but again, it's from a mistake from West Ham, giving the ball away and giving the momentum back to the home side. You can hear the crowd get behind them as well now. The only thing missing from this performance, Dance, from Burnley so far is a goal. I think they've been fantastic.
But it remains goalless on Talksport 2 between the 2 Claret and Blues, and with the score at 0-0, let's give you the latest odds for William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now with them, you can get Burnley to win at 12-5. West Ham to get the win is 13-10. The draw is priced at 7-4. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org. 28 minutes gone. Ian Danter and Mickey Gray with you. And now that the sun is setting, the temperature is biting into my thermal socks, Mickey.
Yeah, the gloves will be on in a moment, won't they? But,
no, I'm not bothered with the gloves.
Well, we just got a little bit of a lull in play there, haven't we? I mean, Kudus has just gone to ground there. I think it was a bit of a soft foul, but you touched on, Dance, a referee who's doing his 5th game, I think you said. Yes. It was in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's trying to let the game go with Sam Barrett, and I think it's been fantastic. It's good for the game. You know, you can see there's a bit of physicality going on, but sometimes everybody who goes to ground, it's not always a foul, and it's great to watch this. I'm enjoying it.
And it's dead level in terms of possession between these two, 50% apiece, as Charlie Taylor comes down the left-hand side for Burnley, but forced to go back to the halfway line, so everybody bar Trafford is inside the West Ham half to our right, with Burnley in their claret and blue attacking the cricket field end in this first half to our right hand side. O'Shea in the centre circle, flicks it to his right for Vitinho. Vitinho can't see an option straight ahead of him, so he gives it back to O'Shea. Shrewsbury 1, Port Vale 0 in League 1. Max Mata puts Shrewsbury ahead of the Greenhouse Meadow, and the ball's now back with Jordan Bayer. Finds the captain Brownhill. Brownhill set upon by Ward-Prowse and Ings, so goes back to the keeper Trafford. And Ings has been feeding off scraps so far, back on his old stomping ground, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, they have. I think they've been really sloppy in possession, West Ham. The only one you can probably talk about in one of those forward positions who's doing very well is Kudus over on the right hand side. But I think we need to see more from Ward-Prowse, Souček, certainly Danny Ings. It's nothing down to him, it's not his problem. I just think those midfield players have to find him a little bit more. But is that down to the way that Burnley have started this game? Well, I think have been fantastic.
Millwall 0, Coventry 1. Matt Godden for Coventry, who are in an awful trot of form. No win in 6 for the Sky Blues, and that is Joe Edwards' first home game as Millwall manager. Got a win in his first game away from home, but Coventry spoiling his first home fixture as boss up to this point. Crewe 1, Doncaster 1. Luke Offord equalises for Crewe at the Alexandra Stadium in League 2. It's 0-0 here with just over half an hour played on Talksport 2 in the Premier League between Burnley, heartened by that 10-point deduction for David Moyes' former side Everton, that brings another side into the relegation mix as things stand. Ball flicked downfield for Paquetá to help onto the halfway line for Ings. Gives it back to Paquetá, but he's got Rodriguez at his back. Doesn't matter. Skips away from him and shows great strength. He was having his shirt pulled by Jordan Bayer. He's going to get a yellow card for that. Sensational hold on and possession play from Lucas Paquetá for West Ham, and he's gone and earned Jordan Bayer a yellow card.
Well, absolutely fantastic. Over on the left-hand side for Paquetá there. You talk about those midfield players or forward players for West Ham and stepping up to the plate. Well, he's maybe just give himself a little bit of a shake. 2 or 3 players around him show great strength, great ability. And again, the referee, I hate to do this all the time, Dance, but he's trying to let the game flow. Sam Barrett, which is absolutely fantastic. There's a foul in there. As soon as he loses the ball, he blows his whistle, pulls it back. And that's the way you want to see it. Let the game just progress the way it is.
West Ham free kick just over halfway. It's floated up to the edge of the box by Ward-Prowse, and the flag's gone up for offside. I can update you with a couple of goals elsewhere. Jake Reeves has given AFC Wimbledon the lead in League 2 against Notts County. Notts County, remember, starting the day in third, 8 points off Stockport on the top. Stockport are going for a record this afternoon. They're at Newport, 12 straight league wins, looking for a 13th this afternoon for Dave Challoner and his men. Reading lead at Wickham as well. Reading bottom of League 1, but Sam Smith has scored again for them. They lead at Adams Park. 12 minutes to half-time on Talksport 2 here at Turf Moor. Neat play from Burnley to get out of trouble in their own defensive third. And Dara O'Shea brings the ball towards the halfway line, looks up for an option, just drills it through the centre of the field. Koleosho's made the run, but the ball just floats away from him and bounces through to Areola, 0-0.
It's a great ball, and Koleosho makes a really good run. But just because that didn't work, it didn't happen for him, there was a little bit too much pace on it, doesn't mean that you can't try it again. Yeah, of course, the Burnley supporters are going to get frustrated if you see those long balls and they're not happening for your team. But that's how you've got to stretch sides. And Koleosho's got that pace to get in behind, albeit it was a little bit too long for him.
It was a heavy touch from Dara O'Shea, and Paquetá almost robbed him of possession. Went to ground and claimed a free kick, and Sam Barrett, the referee, had no intention of blowing his whistle in West Ham's favour. Now, Rodriguez, bit of space for Burnley. Got Vitinho on the overlap, right-hand side. Almost level with the penalty area. Down the right-hand side for the Clarets. Lays it off to Sander Berger. Berger will give it back to the right-back, Vitinho. Vitinho looking to make room for a cross. Will he dive for the byline? No. Gives it back to Berger. First-time ball. Headed just wide. And it was Amdouni again in the area, but just couldn't get the purchase on the header he wanted. It drifts harmlessly wide from the West Ham point of view, and the Hammers have a goal kick, 0-0.
But again, really good play from Burnley. They work it well down the right-hand side. But I think on a couple of occasions, I think it was Sander Berg on the right-hand side, as the ball got played into him, I'm thinking to myself, right, get your head down and just whip it into the box, because you've got static players. Once you start having touches as a wide player, then you play it back to your full-back or your wide player, they've already made their move. I think, try and catch centre-halves off guard, put that ball into the box when they're not expecting it, and then you've got a centre-forward who might have half a chance of getting on the end of it.
Talksport Breakfast back on Monday morning with Ali McCoist and Andy Townsend in tow. And we're just over a week away from Jeff Stelling, ahead of the January transfer window signing. From the 4th of December, he'll be looking after Talksport Breakfast with Ali McCoist every Monday and Tuesday. They've had some fun on breakfast the past few days. I think particularly Gabby Agbonderhor's combined Villa Spurs 11, which had 9 Villa and 2 Tottenham. That's the funniest thing I've heard all week. Talksport Breakfast back from 6 on Monday morning to recap all the weekend's football action. Now, Charlie Taylor for Burnley at 0-0. Cheltenham lead Oxford by a goal to 0. Here's Amdouni, left-hand corner of the box, tries to whip a ball in, cleared away by Zuma, and then Alvarez, 2 strong sliding challenges to keep the ball away, but then Kudus just clips the heels of Charlie Taylor, who's won a free kick for Burnley. Some of the Burnley players say that Kudus should be booked for that. I think that's a bit excessive. It was a foul, and it is a free kick, but nothing more than that. 0-0.
Yeah, you're completely right, Dance. Every foul's not a yellow card, is it? And I think that was one of those occasions coming together. Kudus frustrated because he'd lost the ball. Great defending, I have to say, from Charlie Taylor, getting his body in between man and ball. And it just eases that pressure from the home side, who I keep saying they've been fantastic in the first half, Burnley. They really have. But I think to merit that, they need to put the ball in the back of the net. I think David Moyes certainly would be the more frustrated of the two managers, because I don't think his side have certainly turned up.
Burnley's free kick, left-hand side, just inside the West Ham half. It's floated into the edge of the area by Goodmanson. Comes out to Vitinho, who tried a shot on the half volley. Ambitious and way over the bar. Goal kick West Ham. Bolton lead Exeter in League One, looking for 8 straight wins in all competitions. Bolton, and Jack Iredale's given the Trotters the lead at the, let me get this right, Tough Sheet Community Stadium. And it's Wrexham 3, Morecambe 0. Jacob Mendy, you've worked at that stadium, haven't you?
Yeah.
You have to stop yourself every time, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think I called it the Bolton Stadium at the end, Dan, so I was that worried. Yeah, but,
wise move. I would.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Goal, a second ago there, Dan, and Vitinho there, the ball comes out to him at the edge of the box. And look, he's not an out-and-out striker or a wide player who's going to get you those 15 goals a season. But it's a snatch shot, isn't it? He panics a little bit, wants to get rid of the ball as much as he possibly can, when you can see right in front of our eyes the ball's not settled. Just wait for it to come down a little bit, test the goalkeeper, ask a question, but it kind of tells a story of Burnley's season, doesn't it?
Kudus tries to fire it from right to left. He looked for Paquetá, but he gave it straight to Johan Berg Goodmanson, who brings the ball down and just lays it off to Sander Berg. Early ball into the centre circle. Brownhill can now move at pace into the West Ham half. Plays it left to Koleosho into the area. Koleosho goes down. No penalty. It's a goal kick and nothing more. And Koleosho thumps the turf in frustration. He felt that Vladimir Soufal brought him down, but the referee was right on the spot and said no. Goal kick 0-0.
Well, I've got to say that, yeah, right, we've just seen a yellow card now for that decision. And I think it's gone to Koleosho. And rightly so. If he's gone into the 18-yard box, he's in a 1v1 situation with Soufal down the left-hand side. If there's no contact, absolutely, he deserves his yellow card. We've not yet seen a replay of it to see if there is any contact. I mean, his yellow card's getting branded around like confetti at the moment. I think there's another one just came out there for Agard. I don't know what he said to the referee. But in that situation, we all criticise defenders for making a rash and silly foul.
Well,
but if a forward player is in the 18-yard box and he goes to ground and there's no contact, absolutely, he deserves that yellow card.
Craig Pawson is taking a look in the VAR truck in Stockley Park. Now, the viewing I've got of this is it looks to me like Koleosho is making sure he runs into Soufal to then go over his hip. And the referee says, play on, VAR decision, no foul by Soufal. I think that's the right decision, but I will say I don't think you need VAR to make that decision.
Yeah, and absolutely right, Dan. So look, I mean, we have to look at these decisions, don't we, to see if there is any contact, but you're 100% spot on. Koleosho's tried to move his body in towards Soufal to feel that contact and then go to ground. But in that situation, and he's got the ability, there's no question of that, take your player on, put the ball in the back of the net, don't go to ground, and then you can start to celebrate.
Stays Burnley 0, West Ham 0 as West Ham win their first corner of the game. Ings winning the corner off Patino. Salford equalised against MK Dons, that's 1-1. Bristol City lead Middlesbrough by a goal to nil in the Championship. Taylor Gardner Hickman for the Robins. Of course, Liam Manning now in charge at Bristol City. Corner kick then for West Ham United, and it's going to be James Ward-Prowse, of course, to take the set pieces for West Ham this afternoon. There's only there's two West Ham players in the 6-yard box, either side of James Trafford, and there's at least 3 times as many Burnley defenders around them. Very much zonal marking, Mickey, from Burnley here.
Yeah, it is. You normally see half and half in this day and age, half zonal, half man marking, but you can see there's an overload at the back for West Ham. A 3v2 situation if Ward-Prowse can find. I think it's Soufal who's the spare player.
They've also got Emerson waiting at the left-hand corner of the box. It's where the Jimmy McElroy meets the North Stand, so it's a right-footed in-swinger to come from Ward-Prowse, but Emerson's waiting in case he wants one played short to the left-hand corner of the box. But Ward-Prowse is taking 2 or 3 steps back deliberately. Referee blows his whistle. In it comes from Ward-Prowse into the near post and headed up and out by Souček, and it ends up merely being a goal kick for Burnley. Plymouth Argyle 2, Sunderland 0. Finazaz with the second at Home Park. Sorry, Mickey.
I was having a good day until you read that. I know. But wasn't that interesting, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know if you heard, Dan, it was late, and I think I was coming back from a game or something, but Kevin Nolan was on the sports bar.
It was on Drive. It was Drive last Thursday, yeah.
And he was talking about set pieces and how hard they work on them and how important they are. When you've got somebody, and he actually classed them as the best set piece taker in the world. And I saw 3v2 situation there for West Ham, and it was Danny Ings who was the spare player. And he played the ball to the near post. That must frustrate the life out of coaches.
Ball bobbles around the halfway line, looking for somebody to take control. It is taken control of by Soufal in the end, but his ball infield is intercepted by Brownhill. Koleosho brings the ball up to halfway. 2.5 to the break. Now he's won a foul. This is brought down by Alvarez. Incidentally, both Edson Alvarez and Naya Faged were booked for dissent in that melee that Mickey described whilst the non-penalty was being ruled out. So they've got to be careful, and it's Alvarez that just fouled Koleosho. Swindon 1, Mansfield 0. There's another unbeaten record under threat in the EFL as Jake Young gives Swindon the lead against unbeaten Mansfield at the county ground. AFC Wimbledon 2-0 up on Notts County. Ali Al-Hamidi gets another goal. Vitinho down the right-hand side for Burnley. Tries to get the ball in, it's deflected behind off Ward-Prowse for a corner to Burnley. Their second only of this first half. 2 minutes of normal time to go, 0-0.
What a time to score. I mean, they've got an opportunity here now, Burnley, from a corner. You can see pretty much every outfield player is surrounded or inside of the 18-yard box, and now you just need that little bit of quality.
So Johan Berg Gudmundsson equally adept with left as with right, and it'll be a left-footed in-swinging delivery from Gudmundsson. In it comes, and it's caught well by Areola inside his 6-yard box under a little bit of pressure. He did well, 0-0.
Yeah, he did very well, but the ball shouldn't be going there in the first place.
Now Ings looking to release Kudus down the right-hand side with the ball just too straight from the West Ham point of view, and Trafford, the Burnley goalkeeper, was able to trot out to the edge of his box and collect it. Elsewhere, I can tell you, as well as Swindon going ahead against Mansfield and Wimbledon, Reading are back in front at Wickham. Lewis Wing has made it Wickham 1, Reading 2 in League 1. 0-0 here at Turf Moor. We're into the last minute of normal time at Turf Moor in this first period as Luca Koleosho goes to ground once again. He's won another free kick, this time Kudus the offender, and it's going to be 1 minute of minimum stoppage time once we get to that, but there's a good 40 seconds of normal time left, during which time Burnley should send a free kick into the West Ham area for that foul by Kudus on Koleosho. And I guess Koleosho's got to be careful. He can't fake any more challenges in the referee's eyes. You don't want to get 2 yellow cards for simulation.
Completely right, Dant, as well. I mean, this was a foul. But, you know, you get to so late in the first half, this ball has got to go in the box.
Brownhill and Goodmanson standing over it, and it's Goodmanson, left-footed delivery. Bayer with a header, puts it wide. Decent chance for Jordan Bayer, that, because he rose at the far post, but just couldn't get the header goalwards. It came off the corner of his head, really. Out for a goal kick. It's 0-0.
What a ball. We've been asking for the quality from set pieces, whether it be from wide free kicks or corners. Well, we certainly had it there. Great ball into the box, and I think Jordan Bayer will be scratching his head and wondering, I should have leaped a little bit quicker. I got away from the marker, and it looked like to me, Dance, as if he kind of leaped a little bit too late, and then the opportunity had gone for him to get his header on target.
Goal kick for Areola of West Ham. And it's volleyed back into the West Ham half by Dara O'Shea. Koleosho tries to put Kurt Zuma off, but he heads it back well towards halfway. The West Ham captain. Now a long ball just hoofed downfield, hoping to get Danny Ings on the end of it for West Ham. But Burnley have it back. We're in that minimum 1 minute of added time at the end of this first period on Talksport 2. Emerson shows good strength on halfway for West Ham. The left back tucks it back to Zuma. Bolton double the lead against Exeter. Victor Adebayejo makes it 2-0. And Peterborough 2-0 up on Burton in the same division, Ephron Mason-Clark. Here is Mohamed Kudus under pressure from Josh Brownhill, but the referee has blown the whistle for half-time, and you can hear around us encouragement from the Burnley faithful, even if they haven't found the back of the net, and they've probably had a couple of the best chances to do so. Rodriguez electing to pull a shot across goal for a teammate when he might have gone for goal himself, and Koleosho stinging the palms of Alphonse Areola in the first half. West Ham had their best chance when Paquetá lobbed the ball into the box, but it was Thomas Souček who just headed the ball tamely way over the crossbar. That's as good as it's got for West Ham, who've been sloppy in possession at times, but they've yet to be made to pay by a Burnley side who are still desperate for that first point at home this season. But as it stands, they will get a point in 45 minutes time. At the break, it's Burnley 0, West Ham United 0.
Thank you very much, Ian Danta, alongside Mickey Gray at Turf Moor for that first half commentary. And as Ian just said there, they will get a point if it stays the same. But Mickey, do you feel that Burnley are the team that are most likely to get 3 points if it goes one way?
Absolutely. I thought they were excellent in the first half, and the only thing they haven't done is put the ball in the back of the net, but that's just a lack of opportunities in the final third. Their build-up play, their football that they played is a lot more potent than West Ham's, and I think West Ham and David Moyes would be frustrated at half-time because they've not got going. They've not got Kudus or Paquetá involved in the game as much as they'd like. And set pieces are a big key for West Ham United. They've had one corner which was really poor, actually, and I don't often say this, from James Ward-Prowse because his quality's that good. But I think if you're not playing well, set pieces have got to be absolutely key for them in the second half. There's no question about it. But from what I've seen so far, first half, Burnley have got the upper hand.
That penalty shout was the big moment from that half. It sounded well dealt with by the officials, and you made a few comments during that first half about how well the referees handling the game, and it's refreshing to hear positive things about the officials this season.
Yeah, you're completely right. Sam Barrett's done a brilliant job. He's trying to let the game flow on a couple of occasions. I think it was Kudus and Paquetá for West Ham. They broke through and they were just about to play that final pass, and when they give the ball away, he then blew his whistle and brought the game back to where the foul initially took part. But going to that penalty, it's one of my pet hates. I just hate seeing players trying to feign an injury or feign a foul and try and get one over whoever you're playing against and a referee. So kudos to Sam Barrett, absolutely brilliant. They did the exactly right thing. He tried to put his body into the player, Soufal, right back. There was no contact, there was no penalty, and it was the right decision.
Yeah, very wise to it. That noise you would have heard in the background while I'm here at the City Ground watching the added time at the end of the first half between Nottingham Forest and Brighton was first half substitute João Pedro scoring a goal for Brighton. That means they go in. It looks, well, there's about a couple of minutes left in added time here. They'll go in 2-1 up at home to Forest, having gone behind early on to Anthony Elanga. Evan Ferguson scored the first goal for Brighton. In terms of this game, I've had a message from my friend Dan, who's a season ticket holder at West Ham, eternally frustrated with David Moyes playing Lucas Paquetá on the left, saying that he's ineffective, he can't get into the game. Would you agree?
Well, from what I saw in the first half, John, yes, I'd absolutely agree with you, because I think he's a player that needs to be involved in the game a little bit more. He's one of those players who's got an eye for a pass. And from what I've seen so far from Thomas Souček, he's kind of drifting into that number 10 position, if you like. It's not working for them. So maybe when we come out in the second half, David Moyes might shuffle his pack a little bit. I'm not saying changes, but he might just shuffle his pack around a little bit, because he's got to get involved in the game a lot more, because he's such a talent.
Yeah, when the teams come out for the second half, what do you feel that both of them need to do to instantly to change things? I would say that with James Ward-Prowse, West Ham always have a chance of something coming from nothing. I've seen him, pull things out of the bag for Southampton before, and he's done it a few times since he's moved to West Ham. What do both teams need to do to take a grip of this? Because both of these teams need to get a win. Obviously, we talked earlier about Burnley not winning at home in the Premier League this season, and also West Ham still searching for an away win for the first time since the start of September.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, John. And I think I touch on David Moyes. He's got to get his forward players involved in it. If you don't get your forward players on the ball and turning towards the opposition, you're not going to win a football match. And what I've seen in the first half, West Ham don't look like they're going to win a football match this afternoon. But look, it can completely change in the second 45 minutes. You can see there'll be a bit of unrest, if you like, from the Burnley players, because when you're not winning football games, you start to panic a little bit. Things start to creep into your mind. You think, OK, we've played really well, but we haven't actually put the ball in the back of the net, so we're going to come away from Turf Moor with just a point. And those things start to filter into your fullback, your centre-half, your goalkeeper, and that's when West Ham can probably capitalise on it. But from what I've seen so far, I think Vincent Kompany will be thrilled to pieces at half-time.
Yeah, well, hopefully the Burnley fans are enjoying it as well, given their failures at home so far this season. Thanks to Mickey Gray, also Ian Danter alongside. We'll have second half commentary coming up very, very soon. Burnley 0, West Ham 0. Only one game still being played. That's the game here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 2. Moments left before half-time there. We'll run through all the scores when we return here on Game Day Live, here on Talksport 2.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL.
The Premier League Live on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream the Premier League Live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Reckon the £100 million wonder kid will pay off? Heard that rumour about their striker. Can't wait to see what the pundits make of that booking. Looking forward to the match report on this one. When it comes to football, never miss a story. From news and opinion to interviews and gossip. Get the best coverage at thesun.co.uk.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Rodri to De Bruyne. Flicked on to Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaway.co.uk.
I'm a bad girl, but my takeout better. What you need, dude? I could cop a taco platter. And it ain't only restaurants anymore. We can go bananas at the grocery store. And my sushi train is on loop. When you're this slick, what you gon' do?
Paddington is back in McDonald's Happy Meal. Join him in discovering all the fun of the festive season, like ice skating, pulling crackers, singing songs, and even playing games. But the best thing is, everyone can enjoy the magic with Paddington and Happy Meal. Have a very berry Christmas with Paddington. Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 3rd of January from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy while stocks last. See mcdonalds.co.uk/Happy Meal for detail.
Screwfix Black Friday deals end soon. Save £80 on the Bosch 18-volt impact driver bare unit, now only $49.99. And get the Titan 20-litre wet and dry vacuum for under £50. For more Black Friday deals, shop on the app, online and in-store. It's not too late. Deals end Monday. Delivery charges apply. Ends 27th of November.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
You're listening to Game Day Live here on Talksport 2. The game here at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest has gone into half-time. Nottingham Forest against Brighton and Hove Albion, of course. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 2, so that game will kick off for the second half a little bit later than the other games in the 3 p.m. window in the Premier League. But let's look ahead now to tonight's Premier League action with Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with a Now Sports membership. Stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports 18+, stream via internet, terms apply.
And I can welcome Talksport's utility man to the airwaves of Talksport 2, covering the cricket for us soon in the Caribbean as Talksport 2 brings you the White Ball Series, England versus the West Indies. But now looking across Brentford versus Arsenal, it's Sam Ellard. Afternoon, Sam. You must be licking your lips at this match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Go from Brentford to Barbados on Monday. Yeah, it's going to be a busy couple of days. Yeah, really looking forward to this game. It seems a long time ago now, but Brentford's first Premier League game in the Premier League from their promotion was a 2-0 home win against Arsenal. And of course, if you remember a famous tweet after the game from a certain centre forward of Brentford saying nice kick around with the lads sort of poking fun at Arsenal. It's kind of been a little bit of a heated rivalry between the two sides. To be fair though, since that game Brentford are winless in 4 subsequent meetings in all competitions. Brentford, after a slow start to the season, I was here, John, a few months ago, and they were really poor against Everton. So on Brentford like. They did lose to Liverpool just before the international break, but before that 3 really impressive victories for them, winning at Chelsea, beating West Ham at home as well, and they've been scoring plenty of goals. So still no Ivan Toney at the moment, but they've been coping okay without him and find themselves in a pretty healthy position at the moment, Brentford, in the table and in 11th. You know, I think they probably would have taken that without their star striker. So they're always good here, traditionally good here, certainly against the big boys. They've made it a little bit of a fortress. It's a cold evening, John, so it's certainly not going to be easy for Arsenal this evening.
It's going to be a big incentive for Arsenal watching that game earlier on. It finished Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1, and if Arsenal get the win today, then they can go to the top of the Premier League table with a 1-point gap over Manchester City. I know it's very early, we've not even really got to the festive period yet, but with that incentive in play to finish the weekend top of the table after an international break, that must be geeing up those Arsenal players. It adds in, doesn't it? And I'm sure the fans are probably buzzing with that result. I imagine a lot of them have watched it on the TV or listened to exclusive commentary on TalkSport.
I was going to say the exact same thing. They'll be licking their lips. That really was the perfect result for them, wasn't it? Yeah, I think for Arsenal this evening it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on the goalkeeping situation. Obviously, Aaron Ramsdale's going to play tonight because David Ray is not able to play against Brentford, who he's on loan from. So it feels like a lot of this evening is all going to be around the goalkeeper, and a lot of eyes and ears are going to be on him, and a little bit of everything like that. But yeah, 100%. If Arsenal after 13 games in the table can go top, that'll be a massive boost for them so early on in the season. Good news for them that Gabriel Jesus is available after making his return from injury with Brazil, and also they're hoping to welcome back Martin Odegaard as well, who is recovering from a concussion suffered in training. But yeah, John, I think you've nailed it. Big incentive for Arsenal tonight. A victory, they finish the weekend top of the table.
Yeah, we look forward to it, Sam. Thank you very much for joining us from Brentford, as you say, to Barbados, a fish pie to a fish cutter on the beach. Who knows? That was a look ahead to this afternoon's Premier League action. Don't forget that with Now Sports, you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Spurs versus Aston Villa, and of course Everton versus Manchester United, live tomorrow for $11.99 with no contract. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with a Now Sports membership. Stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports 18+, stream via internet, terms apply.
This is Game Day. Halftime classifieds.
So as we just said there, the early game exclusive on TalkSport. The first game back after the international break finished Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1 at half-time in our commentary game here on TalkSport 2 with live commentary of the second half about to start. Burnley 0, West Ham United 0. It's goalless between Luton Town and Crystal Palace. Newcastle versus Chelsea currently 1-1 at half-time. Here at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2, and Sheffield United 2-0 down at home to Bournemouth. That game between Brentford and Arsenal kicks off at 5:30. We'll keep you across that one with regular updates on TalkSport.
Sky Bet Championship.
Ian Danter, our commentators team. Birmingham City are 1-1 against Sheffield Wednesday at half-time at St Andrews. It's Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 0, Huddersfield 0, Southampton 1. Goalless between Leicester City and Watford. Millwall 0, Coventry City 1. Norwich City are 1-0 up against Queen's Park Rangers. A great start to the afternoon for Plymouth. They're 2-0 up against Sunderland. Preston North End and Cardiff City is goalless, while Stoke City 0, Blackburn Rovers is the score there. And Swansea City are 2-0 up against Hull City, with West Brom versus Ipswich to come here at 5:30 on Talksport 2.
Sky Bet League One.
It's Bolton Wanderers 2, Exeter City 0, Carlisle United 0, Charlton 0. Cheltenham Town 1, Oxford United 0. Derby County versus Bristol Rovers is goalless. Fleetwood Town 0, Stevenage 1. Leyton Orient and Wigan Athletic at half-time, it's 1-1. Lincoln City 1-0 up against Barnsley. Northampton and Cambridge United, another goalless game there. Peterborough United 2, Burton 0, Portsmouth 0, Blackpool 1. Shrewsbury Town 1-0 up against Port Vale, and Wycombe Wanderers 2-1 down at home to Reading. And here we go, it's 0-0 in our commentary game here. Turf Moor, Burnley versus West Ham United, alongside Mickey Gray. Your lead commentator this afternoon, Mr. Ian Danter.
Thank you, John. Players back out here at Turf Moor, and all the ancillary staff and coaching staff just marching across from that corner in the cricket field end to go and retake their positions in the dugouts opposite our commentary position. And our producer Sal's just doing a head count, making sure that there's 22 players out there, including goalkeepers, and indeed there are. There's going to be no half-time changes for either manager. Burnley yet to earn a single point at home. Not since 1895 have Burnley lost 6 successive top-flight games. They've lost their last 5. You might remember they won live on the Talksport network at Luton with the late Jakob Brun-Larsen goal. But they're desperate to avoid equalling that unwanted record from 2 centuries ago, as West Ham, in their change strip of all white, get us back underway. They're kicking towards their supporters in the cricket field end to our right-hand side, as we sit right at the very top and back of the north stand here at Turf Moor. Burnley in the claret and blue then are attacking from right to left as we look, as they favour doing in the second half of matches, heading towards the Jimmy McIlroy end. Ball's back with James Trafford. I'll run you through the lineups in a minute. Trafford just being hassled and harried by Lucas Paquetá. Played a short pass out to Sander Berger that nearly put Berger in desperate trouble against a load of white shirts, but Burnley have got the ball clear. Neatly done by Brownhill. Amdouni guides it down for Charlie Taylor. Back for Amdouni again. It's Trafford in goal for Burnley. Coutinho, O'Shea, Bayer and Taylor at the back. Berger, Brownhill, Goodmanson, Amdouni, Koleosho and Rodriguez. For West Ham, Areola in goal. Soufal Zuma, Aguerd and Emerson. Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Kudus, Soucek, Paquetá and Ings. Ball's back with James Trafford. Short pass out to Dara O'Shea. Looks up to try and find Jay Rodriguez on the halfway line. He headed it down. It was well controlled by the shoulder of Josh Brownhill, and then he fires a neat pass out to Koleosho on this near side of the left, who scampers in field. Get to the left-hand corner of the box, still going. Koleosho into the box, jinks past 2 men, goes down, penalty! This time it is a penalty kick, as Koleosho is clipped inside the box. Edson Alvarez and Kurt Zuma were around him, and Kudus was there too. Somebody had a nibble at Luca Koleosho inside the box. This time he went down without the theatrics, and this time he wins the penalty for Burnley.
Well, this is the right decision. Great start to the second half for the home side, Burnley. And Koleosho is the one you want to get the ball to. He just drives into that 18-yard box. He's got 2 or 3 players around him. And it's Kudus who just came out. He pokes a leg out. And he sees body language after he makes contact with Koleosho. He knows it's a penalty.
I think he's trod on his foot.
Yeah, Sam Barrett straight away, didn't he, Dance? Whistle in mouth. No hesitation to give that penalty, and it looks like Jay Rodriguez is going to step up to take this penalty. What a start to the second half this is going to be.
Well, he is going to take the penalty once it is ratified as such, as a penalty, because Craig Pawson is no doubt taking a look at Stockley Park to make sure that this penalty has been awarded legitimately by Sam Barrett. So Rodriguez is just waiting, cradling the ball in his arms, waiting for the opportunity to spot it down, and it has been confirmed as a penalty. VAR's taken a look and are happy with the decision, and so it's Jay Rodriguez to try and get his first Premier League goal of the season up against Alphonse Areola. A chance for Burnley to get an advantage they so desperately crave at Turf Moor. Rodriguez waits. A three-pace run-up for him, up against Areola at the Jimmy McIlroy end. Rodriguez, right-footed, scores! Straight down the middle! Runs to the corner flag, leaps for joy, and it is joy all around Turf Moor. They sense the points could finally be coming their way at home. Only a couple of minutes gone after the restart. It's Burnley 1, West Ham 0. Jay Rodriguez.
Well, just listen to that crowd. Thrilled to pieces. What a start to the second half for Burnley. No hesitation whatsoever after that penalty was given from Jay Rodriguez. Looked like Areola dived across to his left-hand side, but a super penalty from Jay Rodriguez. When you think you're crying out for a goal, the best opportunity you're going to get is from the penalty spot, and he's not let anybody down. Super penalty, super finish.
Scored 10 goals in the Championship last season in that bumper promotion season of goals, but goals have been hard to come by for Burnley this season. That is only their 10th in the Premier League, but what a precious goal. And as Mickey Gray rightly said, what a great start we have to the second half. That might raise West Ham out of their slumbers, though. It might up their tempo and their work rate now that they're a goal down here, West Ham.
Yeah, completely right, Dance. We talked about those changes. I didn't think it'd be personnel, but you can see Paqueta's now gone through the middle. He's playing in that number 10 position, but he's not been able to get on the ball as of yet in his second 45 minutes. Burnley have played the better football. I said in the first half they deserved to be in front. Well, now they are. What a start to the second half.
Burnley 1, West Ham 0. And the voices are singing loud and proud right now, are all around us here in Lancashire. Food for thought for David Moyes and his staff opposite us. Vincent Kompany still keeping his own counsel, just prowling up and down that touchline with those beautifully clean white trainers he's got on. You wouldn't dare step on those, would you? You'd be in trouble if you christened them with a muddy footprint. Here's Kurt Zouma, heading the ball back up to halfway, but Burnley have it back, and Koleosho, who has certainly not been lacking work rate, Luca Koleosho in this game, had a penalty denied in the first half, and in fact he was booked for simulation, but when Kudus trod on his foot, down he went, penalty given, dispatched by Rodriguez for his first goal back at Premier League level. And it's 1-0 to the Clarets against the Hammers. Yeah. 5 gone second half.
Super start to the second half. You're talking about lighting up a game, and Koleosho's certainly done that. Dance. I'm just looking at all the stats, Dance. We've got a few in front of us here, and I'm not actually sure he got booked for that dive in the first half, which really surprises me if he has not.
He did.
He did, right. Yeah. Okay, it's not on my page.
Yeah, Aged and let me see who else. Alvarez also got booked for the simulation.
Well, if he did, I mean, it's the right decision because he deserved a yellow card. But second half, stayed on his feet as much as he possibly could, and he just waited for that contact, and it came from Kudus, and he was always going to go to ground. He tried to stay on his feet, but it was the right decision. Penalty was given, and a super finish from Rodriguez.
Emerson for West Ham, up against Goodmanson, floats the ball downfield. Ward-Prowse will pick it up. Good ball in field to Lucas Paquetá in that number 10 position. We're in the number 10. Now it goes out to the right-hand side. Soufal can whip a ball in to the near post. It's defended by Jordan Bayer, and Burnley will keep it in their corner left-hand side, and then Charlie Taylor just slides it down the left-hand side. Might break for Koleosho, but he pushed Soufal to the ground to win that ball back, so West Ham have a free kick just over halfway. 1-0 to Burnley, and the atmosphere inside Turf Moor radically different to what it was 30-40 minutes ago.
Yeah, they're absolutely loving it, aren't they? This is what they've been waiting for. Is it going to happen on the 7th occasion in front of their home supporters? Still a long way to go in this game, but they've got one foot in the door. They're picking up maximum points on home side Burnley here, and from the performance I've seen so far from the Dance, deservedly so.
But a free kick for James Ward-Prowse to whip into the box. Great delivery. Might drop for Souček near the penalty spot. The shot was blocked at source and floats out to the far left-hand side where Aguerd is trying to keep it in play. Did he take it out of play? Yes, he did, says Sam Barrett. Northampton lead Cambridge by 1-0 in League One. Kieran Bowie with the goal for the Cobblers. And you know what, Mickey Gray? I was talking Cobblers. Koleosho was not booked.
There you go.
So I owe you 50 quid. All right. Bank transfers in the post.
So I can keep this app that I've got in front of me. It does work.
It does work.
I mean, that surprises me, and it probably surprises yourself as well, because I think if you go into ground dance and there's no contact and you're trying to win your side a penalty, I think the players should be disciplined for that, and he deserved a yellow card. Look, it's all forgotten about now because he's won a penalty at the end in the second half, and
maybe that's why both Aguerd and Alvarez were booked, because they were complaining too much to Sam Barrett about the fact that Koleosho didn't get one. It's all starting to make sense now. Ball's out of play, throw into West Ham. Mansfield, unbeaten in the EFL, equalised at Swindon. Lucas Akins makes it 1-1, and Preston lead Cardiff. Milutin Osmajic for Preston at Deepdale early in the second half. We're with Cardiff on Talksport 2 on Tuesday night as they take on West Bromwich Albion. Ball throw goes into the box. It might drop here for Ward-Prowse. It's blocked on its way to goal by Sander Berger, and Burnley clear their lines. But West Ham are trying to pen Burnley in. Burnley a goal up. Aguerd floats it down the left-hand side, looking for Paquetá. Came off Coutinho last of all. Corner given to West Ham at the cricket field end to our right. 1-0 Burnley.
The pressure's starting to come now from West Ham, isn't it? And you can see, and I hope that Vincent Kompany can as well. Burnley have started to drop a lot deeper. Great block there from Sander Berger from that shot from James Ward-Prowse. Just cleared his lines, taking the pressure off his team. But that pressure's going to keep coming now because West Ham are on the front foot.
Corner kick for James Ward-Prowse. Another right-footed in-swinger where the Bob Lord stand meets the cricket field end. It's whipped in again to the near post. Headed up in the air by Souček. Drops on the 6-yard line. Aguerd couldn't get the purchase. And a desperate header clear out to this near side. Can't be kept in by Koleosho. It's a West Ham throw. James Trafford did just enough. 1-0 Burnley.
Yeah, they're looking a little bit shaky, don't they, Burnley, at the moment? And the problem they've got, Dan, because they haven't been in the lead so many times in the Premier League this season, they don't know how to handle it. They've started to drop off and give the impetus back to the away side.
Another throw goes into the box. Paquetá blasts the ball over on the half volley. That must have been so close for the Brazilian. As the long throw came in, Burnley didn't deal with it. Paquetá unmarked about 15 yards out. Just let his left foot strike the ball, and it whistled over the bar for a goal kick. 1-0 it stays to Burnley on Talksport 2.
Has to go down as a chance. Real good chance from a quality player in Paquetá. But he just gets it all wrong, snatches at it a little bit, doesn't get his body over the top of the ball. Lies wide and high over the crossbar.
1-0 to Burnley, goals flying in elsewhere. Swansea 2, Hull 1. Hull get one back to Jayden Pillagey and Bidders. Tranmere double the lead in League 2 at home to Gillingham. Connor Jennings makes it 2-0 at Prenton Park. Salford 2, MK Dons 2. Joe Tomlinson equalises for MK. Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 1. An own goal from Zach Viner gets Middlesbrough back in it. And Bournemouth are now 3-0 up at Sheffield United. Marcus Tavernier has his second of the afternoon. And Shrewsbury 2 up on Port Vale in League 1. But here on Talksport 2, our concentration is on Burnley's quest for their first points at home, and they're 1-0 up with 56 minutes played, and they've won possession. Amdouni, right-hand side into the box, pressurised by Ward-Prowse. Amdouni, brilliant save at his near post by Areola. It's a corner to West Ham. Amdouni just drove it in at the near post, hoping to catch Areola out, but the West Ham keeper was equal to it. 1-0, corner kick.
Brilliant play from Amdouni there. Showed his strength, win the ball back. And when he got himself into the 18-yard box, I'm sometimes critical of centre-forwards for not taking a strike on. But absolutely, it was a tight angle, super save from Areola. He did have a player in the 6-yard box to play to, but I think centre-forward, you've got to be greedy. Super strike.
So a corner at the Jimmy McElroy end for Burnley, and it will be Johan Berg Gudmundsson once again. It's where it meets the Bob Lord stand, so it'll be a left-footed in-swinger from Gudmundsson. Plenty of whip on it. Up goes the head of Dara O'Shea, but he got right underneath it, and it sailed way over the crossbar for a goal kick. Bristol City 2, Middlesbrough 2. They're level now, Middlesbrough. 2 goals in quick succession for Borough. Matt Crooks getting them level. Carlisle 0, Charlton 1, long way up to Cumbria for the Addicts, but they lead through Corey Blackett-Taylor in League One. And Robbie Brady's been sent off for Preston, so they lead Cardiff to Preston, but they're down to 10. Robbie Brady with a second yellow card. As we all know, 2 lemons make a strawberry. Talksport 2 at Turf Moor. Burnley 1-0 up and growing in confidence. Amdouni with some lovely skill on halfway. It's set up Koleosho down the left-hand side, but a twinkle toes from Luca Koleosho, but he couldn't get past the combination of Alvarez and Soufal in the end. And now Paquetá showing his strength. But then he's muscled out of it by Sander Berger. That looked like a foul to me. Nothing doing, said the ref.
No, I love it, Dance. No, Paqueta's still on the ground. I think it's just a coming together. I'm putting that down as great defending from Berger there. He got his body in the way of the ball. He got there first. Yes, Paqueta went to ground. But I just think it epitomises the way that Burnley have approached this game. I thought first half they were brilliant. Second half they looked a little bit panicky when they took the lead early in the second half. But when they get the ball out wide, certainly over on this left-hand side with Koleosho, he's brilliant to watch, and you don't know whether he's going on his right foot or his left foot. I have to say, super defender from Soufal as well in a 1v1 situation. But that's what they've got to do. Get your better players on the ball and give them the chance to get into that final third and win your football match.
That's Mickey Gray, former England, Sunderland, Blackburn defender, with us on Talksport 2. Now, Paquetá had treatment, even though there's nothing really wrong with him, so he's now got to wait for 30 seconds under the new ruling before he can re-enter the field of play. He could have just got up and played on, but having treatment invokes that ruling. 1-0 to Burnley as we approach the hour mark. Bolton 3 up on Exeter. Paris McHomer as Bolton are really playing some smashing stuff under Ian Evatt at the moment in League One. Chesterfield, the leaders of the National League, 2 up on Eastleigh. Ollie Banks with a second goal after an own goal from William Greenwich put them ahead. And Stevenage 2-0 up at Fleetwood. Ben Thompson for Steve Evans' side. 1-0 to Burnley on Talksport 2. West Ham in possession with Ward-Prowse. Nutmegs Brownhill on the right hand side. Souček has to flick it back for Aguerd. Now there's a high press from Burnley, trying to get right on top of West Ham in their own defensive third. Areola looks for Soufal, the right back, immediately closed down by Koleosho. Now Paquetá with a neat flick, but he couldn't find a teammate, and then Brownhill just toe-poked it straight out of play for a throw to West Ham. And Lucas Paquetá is now the chief pantomime villain, as you can hear.
Yeah, and he looks all right to me, Dan. I don't know if he does to you as well, but he's played a super ball out to the left-hand side, but I think he's going to have to get used to these boos now.
Emerson coming in field from the far left-hand side for West Ham. A couple of changes being readied, I can see opposite me in the West Ham dugout, but meantime they're coming forward down the right-hand side with Kudus coming in field towards the edge of the D. Plays a square ball just to his left for Emerson. Emerson's got Ward-Prowse showing for him near the left-hand corner of the box. Ward-Prowse gets his header, clips into the area. Kudus tried to apply a deft header, and it's prevented by going out for a corner by Trafford. Great goalkeeping to stop the corner, and they clear their lines, Burnley. They might try and win it on halfway, but Zuma too clever for Amdouni. And then Paquetá goes down again. He's won a foul this time of Jay Rodriguez, and the changes are about to be made for West Ham United, and Danny Ings is going to come off, and so too is Edson Alvarez, and Said Benrahma is one of those coming on. The other really interesting change, this Divin Muvamba joined West Ham at the age of 8. He's just 19, hasn't featured in the Premier League this season. He's going to get his chance to go up front in place of Danny Ings. He was banging in goals for the academy side last year, particularly in the FA Youth Cup, Mickey. Getting his chance today in place of Danny Ings. Divin Muvamba.
Yeah, well, it's an opportunity for him when a game's not going well for David Moyes' West Ham. He needs to make those changes because somebody's got to come up with that spark, and you know, if it is Mvuma, absolutely fantastic, kudos to him. It's a great opportunity for a young man as well, but we also know that the quality of Fornals as well. He will work on that left-hand side, and I think that's where they've been really weak today, West Ham, certainly away from home.
So Ings and Alvarez off, and on in their place come Mubama and Benrahma. And it's a West Ham free kick just over the halfway line. Ward-Prowse chips it into the area, well over the head of Souček, and Rodriguez can just watch that ball drift behind for a goal kick to Burnley, who lead by a goal to 0 on Talksport 2. We played 62 minutes at Turf Moor. Remember, we'll be off to West Brom against Ipswich straight after this commentary, so keep it on Talksport 2 for more live football. Great game in prospect. West Brom, despite not having the biggest of squads under Carlos Corberán, really have been playing some smashing football of late. I saw them win at Coventry a few weeks back, but they're up against high-flying Ipswich Town. That will be our tea time commentary. We'll get team news from the Hawthorns in the next 10-15 minutes here on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Now here come Burnley, who were once in the EFL but don't want to go back there, at least not yet. And they are 1-0 up on West Ham United through that Jay Rodriguez penalty early in the second half. Here's Paquetá looking out to the left-hand side for Ben Rama. Mubama's made a run through the middle. Mubama can't control it. It goes away from him, and it's won back by the claret and blue shirts of Burnley. And Amdouni just calmly rolls it back to his goalkeeper, James Trafford. Just keeps it away from Mubama, who is closing him down. And then Dara O'Shea would just put his foot through it. Does that stay in play on that far side? It does. Looked like a handball from Jade Rodriguez, but the referee waves play on anyway. 1-0 the score to Burnley on Talksport 2. Vladimir Soufal for West Ham, who've just made that double change to try and shake things up a little bit. Heading for a fourth successive Premier League away defeat at this rate, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? I mean, their form before the international break was very good for West Ham, and I'm sure that David Moyes probably didn't want that break. He's got a couple of injuries, obviously, who are not playing today, and I think they've really missed them today. No question, Jarrett Bowen gives West Ham something. He gives them that little bit of a spark, and you know, the physicality of Mikel Antonio as well. And I think that's been a big miss for them, which is why David's made those changes. We talk about the two they brought on, Obama and Ben Rama as well. I mean, they've both got quality, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the young man can give us in this second half.
Premier League goals elsewhere. Jamal Lascelles, the skipper, has put Newcastle back in front against Chelsea. 2-1 the score there. And João Pedro's got a second of the game, and Brighton's third. Nottingham Forest 1, Brighton 3. That's a penalty for the Portuguese. Here at Turf Moor, 25 minutes to go. Burnley 1-0 up, but here is Syed Benrahma trying to get a shot away from the left-hand corner of the box. Cleared away as it snaked around the 18-yard line, but Jordan Bayer just put his foot through it and got it away from danger. Back with Kurt Zuma and then James Ward-Prowse in the centre circle. Short pass for Benrahma. Now Aguerd. Apparently it's 3-1 to Newcastle now. Joe Linton has got a third for Newcastle at St James's Park against Chelsea. A floated pass from James Ward-Prowse out to Soufal for West Ham. Early cross into the box. Good ball just over the head of Mubama. Headed out by the Burnley backline. Koleosho guides it down for Charlie Taylor. First time clearance from Taylor. Brilliantly kept in play by Amdouni. And that was handball by Vladimir Soufal. Wonderful turn from Zeki Amdouni. Tight to this near touchline as he span and flicked the ball forward. Vladimir Soufal stuck out an arm. That's an easy yellow card for the referee to admonish.
It's fantastic. You know, sometimes you don't actually have to touch the ball to do something spectacular in a game, and that certainly was that from Amdouni over on this left-hand side. Soufal had no choice just to poke his arm out. Rightly so, goes into the book as well. But again, excellent play from Burnley. Not panicking, coming out from the back. They've got themselves in front, and they're still taking the game to West Ham, which I love to see.
Peterborough 3, Burton 0. Cole Stockton with an own goal to put Peterborough further clear at London Road. Hearts 1, St Johnstone 0. Lawrence Shankland, who is scoring goals for Scotland in the recent international break. You heard it on Talksport 2. Puts Hearts 1 up against St Johnstone in the Scottish Premiership. Portsmouth down to 10. Joe Morell's got a second yellow card. Another one for the two Lemons make a strawberry file. And Portsmouth were 1-0 down to Blackpool last time I checked, so that long, proud, unbeaten record for John Mousinho and Portsmouth under severe threat of going this afternoon at Fratton Park against another lot from the seaside. Burnley 1, West Ham 0. We've reached the three-quarter mark of this game. Koleosho can't keep the ball in play. It's out for a throw. Millwall 0, Coventry 2. Tatsuhiro Sakamoto has doubled Coventry's lead at the Den, and Bolton 4-0 up on Exeter City. Dion Charles gets his regulation goal, makes it 10 for the season. for Dion Charles as they're 4-0 up on the Grecians. Here's Zuma for West Ham United. Finds Soufal, just had that yellow card, closed down by Koleosho, chips it up to halfway, brilliantly kept in play by Kudus, but he ran into trouble as he came in field, and Amdouni, who's growing in confidence for sure as this game goes on, is now trotting down the inside left channel, flicks it out to Koleosho, down the left-hand side of the box, gets into the area, drives for the byline, but that's well protected by Soufal, but he has conceded a corner to Burnley, who lead by a goal to 0.
Well, if you don't get a ball into the area, make sure you make your defender defend, and that's what Soufal has got to do in this second half against Koleosho over on this left-hand side. He gets his body in the way, just has that little slight touch before it goes over the byline to win the home side another corner. But the atmosphere in here, Dan, they probably haven't felt this season in the Premier League, and you can feel they're getting behind them. Everything they do, they're cheering them on.
Corner set to come in from this near side. It's floated in strong by Brownhill, headed out of the near post by Souček. Kudus flicks it on towards halfway. Benrahma's in the centre circle, but Sander Berge was the last man for Burnley, got there ahead of him and guides the ball back to his goalkeeper James Trafford. Left-footed clearance downfield, headed back towards the halfway line, but here comes Josh Brownhill, the Burnley captain, but nobody around him in claret and blue. Just ran out of room in the end, and back it goes to Areola. AFC Wimbledon 2, Notts County 1. Macaulay Langstaff with his 14th of the season gets County back in it at Plough Lane, and Derby lead Bristol Rovers by a goal to 0. Jack Hunt midway through the second half at Pride Park. That's an own goal to put the Rams ahead in the East Midlands. And Luton 0, Palace 1 in the Premier League. Odson Edouard gets the opener at Kenilworth Road. Luton 0, Crystal Palace 1. 1-0 to Burnley here. Mickey Gray alongside me, Ian Danter here on Talksport 2. Have those two changes made by David Moyes had any profound effect yet, Mickey?
Well, not really, because they haven't been able to get them in the game, and it's all down.
Oh, great skill from Paquetá, lobs the ball over the head of O'Shea, plays it out to the left-hand side of the box, but it couldn't make its way through to Saïd Benrahma. The other 22 out there got it clear, Vitinho, but now it's back with Souček for West Ham. Rolls it out to Benrahma, left-hand side, right-footed ball into the danger area, beyond all the defenders, kept in play and hooked back across the face of goal, but there's enough Burnley players back who should be able to get it clear, and in the end Jay Rodriguez, the goal scorer, just hooks it back over his head towards the midway point of the half, but West Ham have it again, given away by Benrahma though this time, and Sander Berge finds Vitinho, and he just floats it up to Rodriguez. Might break actually for Amdouni on halfway, but Kurt Zouma will tidy up. So it is currently 1-0 to West Ham United, to Burnley rather, over West Ham United. And for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now Burnley to stay in front and win 2-5. West Ham priced at 9-1 for the win now. The draw's at 13-5. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. That's 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Ball over the halfway line finds Jay Rodriguez in an offside position. Free kick to West Ham United. Burnley are about to make a change. Aaron Ramsey is about to be introduced as Peterborough go 4-0 up on Burton in League One. And Zeki Amdouni is the player making way. And I just said it in commentary, Mickey Gray. I don't know what you think. I think Zeki Amdouni's got better as the game's gone on.
No, absolutely. Completely agree with you, Dan. Worked his socks off. And I think when you see a striker putting his shift in like he has done today, the rest of the players follow suit. And he's walking off the pitch now, must be absolutely shattered. He's done his part for the team today. Can't do any more. What a performance from the forward.
Bristol City back in front against Middlesbrough, 3-2. Mark Sykes gets the goal for the Robins. Barnsley, who've had a horrible week, dumped out the FA Cup for fielding an ineligible player. They equalise at Lincoln, 1-1 Barry Cotter. Chesterfield 3-0 up on Eastleigh. The National League leaders look to be picking up another 3 points. The 3 points are going Burnley's way here. 18 minutes to go. West Ham have got plenty of time though to try and find a route back into this fixture. And it's Aguerd out to the left-hand side for substitute Saïd Benrahma. Up against Dara O'Shea down the left-hand side of the box, elects not to cross, gives it to Ward-Prowse. First time ball is volleyed clear by Brownhill, but there's nobody on halfway for Burnley. Although a good header down from Goodmanson finds Jay Rodriguez, and Rodriguez sets Aaron Ramsey away just on as the substitute. Down the right-hand side, Zuma backpedaling, Ramsey into the area and fires the right-footed shot over the bar. It's a goal kick for West Ham United, but Aaron Ramsey already fleet of foot, having just come on the pitch. 1-0 Burnley.
There's no question. I mean, he's came onto the field. He's been sat there for 70 minutes, Aaron Ramsey, and he knows exactly what performance Burnley are putting in, and he's epitomised that. First time he gets a chance to run at Kurt Zuma in a 1v1 situation. Tight angle, but really good play. Playing as a centre forward. I normally seen him in midfield, Dance, but he's doing a job for the team, and it's certainly working so far.
Here he is again at the edge of the D. Aaron Ramsey trying to jink right and get away from Aguerd. He's kept possession. Rodriguez calling for it, right-hand corner of the box. Gives it back infield. It's presented to Sander Berge, out to the right-hand side, and Goodmanson. Three waiting for a cross. In it comes, headed away by Aguerd. Only as far as Sander Berge. Options left and right. Just puts his foot on the ball, the Norwegian. Keeps away from Ward-Prowse. Lovely skill from Sander Berge. Still hasn't sent the ball in from the right-hand side. Lays it off instead to Johan Berg Goodmanson, who's fouled by Paquetá. Free kick to Burnley. Although it's disappointing the cross never came in, Mickey. They've kept possession and they've won a free kick.
Absolutely. And I touched on this in the first half. If you get yourself into a good position, whether it be on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, don't let your forward players down. You whip that ball into the box, and if your striker doesn't get on the end of it, you can ask a question why. But Sander Berge, look, it was great play, good midfield play, held on to the ball, but when that chance came to put the ball in the box, he turned it down on 2 or 3 occasions, and you've got centre forward who is static in the box, waving their arms around, going, look, you've got to put the ball in the box. We want to win this game. Yes, we're winning at the moment 1-0, but wouldn't it be better if we get a second goal?
So they have a free kick, Burnley, midway point of the West Ham half. It's right on the far touchline. So Goodmanson and Brownhill both standing over it. Options for a left or right-footed delivery. There's a two-man West Ham wall. It's Goodmanson, left-footed, into the area. Headed down by Dara O'Shea, but a comfortable save at his near post for Areola. Luton equalise. The Crystal Palace goal was ruled out, and Luton now have the lead. Ted and Mengi makes it Luton 1, Crystal Palace 0. So that early goal from Otton Edouard did not count in the end. VAR ruled it out. Notts County have equalised at AFC Wimbledon. 2-2 at Plough Lane. Aaron Nemain gets the equalising goal, and Wrexham 4-0 up in the same division against Morecambe, and Oxford are down to 10 men at Cheltenham. Ruben Rodriguez joins the two lemons make a strawberry gang for the afternoon with his second yellow card. Burnley 1, West Ham 0, and the nerves aren't quite jangling yet for the home faithful here at Turf Moor, but I sense if the score stays like this into the last 10 minutes, Mickey Gray, it's going to get very, very, very edgy and tetchy round here.
Well, the pressure's certainly got to come on from West Ham. I think they've been poor today, Dance, and in that final third they've showed a lack of quality. But in the final 10 minutes of the game, because Burnley are not used to being in front, all you have to do is defend for their lives. Clear your lines, make sure that the opposition don't get any chances against you, because if you can come away from Turf Moor this afternoon with 3 points, having known what's happened to Everton in the last week or so, this is a huge win.
Out to the left-hand side, Ben Rama can't get the cross in, but he has won a corner, which he will leave for Ward-Prowse. Team news from the Hawthorns, Adam Bridge.
One change for the Baggies from that defeat against Southampton. Maritson for Chalobah, who's missing from the squad. 2 changes for Ipswich. Brandon Williams, his first time in the team sheet since the end of October. And Wes Burns comes in to replace Hutchinson. We're live with kickoff at 5:30.
Yeah, stay with us on Talksport 2 for West Bromwich Albion against Ipswich. John Jackson will continue to host the show. Adam Bridge, your commentator. Corner to West Ham, a goal down. Ward-Prowse swings it in right under the crossbar, punched away with both fists by James Trafford. Comes out to Ben Rama, looks to the left-hand corner of the box, and Paquetá lobs it back into the area. Zuma can't divert it goalwards. It's gone over the bar and behind for a goal kick to Burnley as goals go flying in. It is now an equaliser for Crystal Palace, it seems, at Luton. Michael Olise makes it 1-1. Chelsea down to 10 men. Reece James joins the two lemons make a strawberry gang. He gets a second yellow card. Blackpool 3-0 up at Portsmouth. Portsmouth will lose for the first time in the EFL this season. CJ Hamilton with the third goal for Neil Critchley's Seasiders. And Newport 2, Stockport 0. That long run of victories for Stockport coming to an end at Rodney Parade. Shane McLaughlin with the second for Newport. Hull equalised at Swansea 2-2, Tyler Morton. And Barnsley have come from behind to lead at Lincoln by 2-1, John McAtee. West Ham a goal down with 12 minutes of normal time to go. Emerson puts the ball into the box. Shanked clearance by Sander Berger. Drifts out to this near side of the right. Mabama can't get away from the challenge of Joe Rodriguez, who gets a roar of approval from round Turf Moor for sliding in and giving the substitute no space. In fact, it was Kudus, forgive me, who couldn't get the cross in, but it is a throw to West Ham that's going to be launched into the box from level with the area. It's a long run up for Soufal, launches it in towards the near post, it bounces, it's awkward for Burnley, but they managed to get it clear. West Ham get it back, Soufal again, lovely ball into the area, headed goalwards by Zuma, but well held on to by James Trafford. It was on target from Kurt Zuma, but Trafford dealt with it well enough, and Burnley hold on to this slender one-goal lead on Talksport.
Yeah, well, it's two opportunities for Kurt Zuma in the space of a minute. First one I thought was a better chance for him, but he just couldn't sort his feet out. On the second occasion, the ball does come into the box and he just gets no leverage on the shot. When that ball's heading towards the goal, it's an easy save in the end for James Trafford. But they're starting to panic now, the home team. I said before, they've just got to defend for their lives. No pretty football, leave that to the forward players.
Here's Aaron Ramsey making the run to the edge of the area. Zuma's gone out to engage him. Down the right-hand side of the box. Ramsey holding the ball up, gives it back to Josh Brownhill. Thought about a shot 30 yards out and thought better of it. Sander Berger finds Vitinho out to the far right-hand side, kept in play just by Johan Berg Gudmundsson. Lovely turn and drop of the shoulder from Sander Berger. Tried to feed it out to Gudmundsson right-hand side, but was dispossessed. Soufal thumps it downfield for West Ham. Leicester lead Watford, the leaders of the Championship, ahead through Jamie Vardy with less than quarter of an hour to go. We've got two Championship commentaries for you in midweek. We've got West Brom Ipswich tonight, straight after this, and then we're with West Brom on Tuesday at Cardiff, and Leeds against Swansea on Wednesday on your home of the EFL. Down goes Soufal and the pressure from Koleosho. Free kick to West Ham. Lewis Dunk's been sent off for Brighton. They lead 3-1 at Nottingham Forest, but the two Lemons make a strawberry stupid line. Rears its head once again. Second yellow card for Dunk. Northampton 2, Cambridge 1, and a change for Burnley, and Luca Koleosho is being withdrawn, and it's Zarori, one of the stars of the Championship campaign that you saw many times here last year. Mickey Gray is coming on for the American, who's really another player who's put a real shift in.
Yeah, well, he's another talent, isn't he, that's emerged from Vincent Kompany. We've had some wonderful players in those wide positions over the last couple of seasons, and Koleosho's certainly been one of those. Been brilliant today, influential in winning that penalty. As you mentioned, Zarore, who got a lot of goals in the Championship last season.
Yeah, it was 7 goals and 5 assists last year for Zarore.
Decent World Cup as well, seen him involved in that. So there's no doubt he's got that talent, and what a player to come off the bench for the last 10-12 minutes of the game.
We're into the 82nd minute. Free kick to West Ham for that push on Soufal. It's almost at the midway point of the half, but quite a way to the right of centre. But perfect for James Ward-Prowse to whip the ball into the box. Races his left arm, drifts it into the edge of the area, headed out by the Burnley defence, and Gudmundsson just lifts it high into the Lancashire sky, and Emerson heads it back to his goalkeeper Areola, who plays the ball out to the right-hand side, and Soufal. So Rory closing down the space there. Thumped downfield now by Areola. Paquetá having his shirt pulled by Bayer. But here come West Ham with Kudus. Out to the left-hand side, and Ben Rama up against Vitinho. Couple of step-overs. Ben Rama puts it wide when he tried to wrap his right foot round it and couldn't get enough curl and bend on the shot. And it ends up merely being a goal kick to Burnley, who are hanging on here. 1-0 with 8 to go.
Yeah, they certainly are. Fantastic play from Kudus. We've not really seen too much of him this afternoon. But as he plays that ball over to the left-hand side with Ben Rama, a lovely little step over to just create that little half a yard for himself, gets onto his strong right foot, and it looked like it was going to fire right into the top corner. It's not too far away, Dan. Great opportunity, I have to say.
Close but no cigar. Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 3. So after that red card for Dunk, the penalty scored by Morgan Gibbs-White. Here on Talksport 2, Burnley a goal up, and here's Aaron Ramsey, their summer signing from Villa, down the right-hand side. Looks to Johan Berg Gudmundsson, left-hand corner of the box. Brownhill gets underneath the shot from the edge of the D, lifts it way, way over the bar. Goal kick for West Ham United away to our left. 1-0 Clarets.
Well, again, it's another really good opportunity. Look, yes, he's 20 yards out, Josh Brownhill, at the edge of the box, but it comes to him so sweetly onto his right foot. I think you've just got to get your body over the ball. You've got to keep it nice and low. Ask questions of Areola in that West Ham goal. That's a bit of a let-off for the away side.
And a yellow card for Kevin Nolan, who was on drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bentley the week, part of West Ham's coaching staff. And he's had a yellow card from the referee as Kudus wins a corner at the cricket field end for West Ham as they continue to try and apply the pressure. Wrexham 5-0 up on Morecambe. Paul Mullin gets another goal for Wrexham this afternoon. Corner's taken short. Soufal sends the ball into the box, punched away by Trafford again under pressure, and he was being pushed, says Sam Barrett. And so it's a free kick to Burnley, and high fives all round in the Burnley rearguard. 6 minutes of normal time to go on Talksport 2. Can Burnley hang on for their first home win of the season, indeed their first home points of the season? It's 1-0.
I have to say, James Trafford there, as that ball came into the box, Dance, I don't know about you, but I thought he should have just come and collected and caught it. He got away with it because any contact on goalkeepers now, we know what happens, they get a foul. So he got a bit of good fortune there, but I think as a goalkeeper, if he just collects that ball in his hands there, takes away all the stress and the strain from the rest of his players, you can tick down another 20 or 30 seconds. You can see the pressure is just going to keep coming and coming and coming from West Ham now.
Josh Cullen, a former West Ham United youth player, is on for Burnley. Johan Gudmundsson has gone off, so there's a bit of a rejink. Cullen's gone into central midfield. Brownhill's kind of gone out into that position that Gudmundsson was in on the right of the three, in behind Rodriguez. 1-0 to Burnley. 5 minutes of normal time to play at Turf Moor, plus whatever the referee wants to add on for stoppages and substitutions, and indeed goal celebrations, because we've had one of those for Jay Rodriguez from the penalty spot. That's the difference between the two sides. Ramsey tries to turn on halfway, can't get any change out of the West Ham defence. It goes out to the left-hand side of Benrahma, back into his own half for Aguerd. Aguerd thought about a long raking ball downfield, but then just clips it out to the left-hand side for Benrahma. Brilliant turn from Benrahma, but then he lost out, and he's won a free kick for a push. So a quick free kick maybe for West Ham. You listen to Burnley 1, West Ham 0 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Spurs Villa and Everton Manchester United live tomorrow for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. Kudus, right hand corner of the penalty area for West Ham. Goes for the byline, pulls it back near post, and it's tucked away for a first ever Premier League goal by Divin Mubama. Divin Mubama right in front of goal, could not miss. Kudus, the creator, got to the byline, pulled it back, and Divin Mubama at 19 years of age, a moment to savour, but it's heartbreak for Burnley. They were within 5 minutes of a 3-point haul, but West Ham have clawed it back, and it's the youngster, Divin Mubama. It's 1-1.
Well, you could just sense it, couldn't you? I mean, there was a lot of set pieces from West Ham without showing great quality. And I said he's been really quiet this afternoon, Kudus, on this right-hand side. But my goodness, absolutely, he's got 3 or 4 players around him, just shows his pace and his strength. And with his weaker right foot, he just whips the ball into an area. He's got a lot of pace in it. But give credit to the young man, Mubama. He just gets towards that near post, he pokes out a leg and sticks the ball in the back of the net. Heartache for the home side, joy for the away side.
1-1 the score then. Chance for a winner for either side. But what a moment for this 19-year-old. Joined West Ham at the age of 8.
Wow.
One club man, top goal scorer in the FA Youth Cup last season. On his first appearance in the Premier League this season, he finds the net.
Well, it's a striker's finish, Dance, isn't it? you've got to give a lot of credit to Kudus over on this right-hand side. You know, he's not played well today, but when you give him that opportunity of just driving past the player, he certainly did that. He just whipped it into the box. He didn't try and pick anybody out. So the young man, Mubama, absolutely brilliant. Centre forward, that's what you want him to do. Get the near post, get away from his marker, any contact, and the ball's found its way into the back of the net. 1-1 thrilled.
1-1 here. Newcastle 4, 10-man Chelsea 1. Anthony Gordon. Luton are in front against Crystal Palace again. Jacob Brown makes it 2-1. Birmingham leads Sheffield Wednesday. Welsh international Jordan James has turned it around for Birmingham with 9 minutes to go at St Andrews. Please, just please. 1-1 on Talksport 2 into the last 2 minutes. Kudus for West Ham. They fancy a winner here, the Hammers. Played into the edge of the area. Burnley look nervous all of a sudden. Ball played out, it's won back by Ward-Prowse. No, well done Jay Rodriguez. And now away comes Zarori for West Ham, for Burnley rather. West Ham backpedaling. Aaron Ramsey calling for infield. Zarori thought about a cross, left-hand corner of the area. Now he puts it in, headed away by Aguerd. Coventry 3-0 up at Millwall now. Ben Sheaf gets a third. Zarori again, trying to get between two West Ham players, Paquetá and Soufal. Soufal goes to ground, pushed over by Cullen. That's a free kick for West Ham United, which James Ward-Prowse wanted to take quickly, and then Souček got in his way.
Yeah, they can certainly sense an away win, can't they, West Ham now? They've got the impetus, they're pushing forward, and some of the players have actually started to play football now, where the first 75 minutes of the game, you couldn't see any of them. But the more players who've got the ability, Paqueta's now coming short, trying to get involved in the game. And there's no question those substitutions, it took them a little bit of time to get into the game, but what an impact from the bench.
It's now been suggested that equaliser for West Ham is a Dara O'Shea own goal rather than a goal for Divin Mubama, but the official Premier League site still says that it's Mubama's goal. I'm sure Dara O'Shea doesn't want it. It's going to be 7 minutes of added time. We're about to tick round to 90 minutes here on Talksport 2. 1-1 the score. Kudus trying to get on the end of a crossfield pass. Brilliant defending by Charlie Taylor to head it behind, but it is a West Ham corner as we enter that 7 minutes of added time in Lancashire. West Ham with their tails up here, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, and it's another set piece for West Ham. Look, they haven't showed great quality, and you don't often say that when you've got somebody like James Ward-Prowse, but this is an opportunity. You can see, 6 or 7 West Ham players in that Burnley 18-yard box. You just need that quality and one of your players to get in front of their marker.
Ward-Prowse to take the corner at the cricket field end. Right-footed outswinger from the West Ham number 7. Goes onto the 6-yard line, headed out by Rodriguez, who is back doing his defending. Comes back out to Ward-Prowse. Teases it down the right-hand side of the box. Kudus is there again, looking to make a nuisance of himself. Good ball into the far post. What a goal! Thomas Souček volleys it home at the far post and runs straight to those delighted West Ham fans as West Ham turn it around and break Burnley hearts at Turf Moor. They're going to go away pointless once again from a home fixture, and West Ham have come from behind, and a spectacular far post volley from Thomas Souček looks to have sealed it for the Hammers. Burnley 1, West Ham 2.
Well, can you believe it? We talked about how well Burnley have played in this game, and you could just sense the nerves, couldn't you? It wasn't just coming from the players, it was coming from the stands as well. They sensed that West Ham had that little bit of impetus, they got themselves on the front foot. And I talked about danger from set piece as well. It's not a set piece, it's whipped into the box. It's a brilliant ball, I have to say. But if you're a defender and you know Souček's in that 18-yard box, you have got to work hard to mark him and get in front of your man. I'm not too sure if there's an offside situation here, Dan, or not. But brilliant ball, brilliant finish, I have to say. Do they deserve it? Well, no, they don't in my eyes, but they're going to come away from Turf Moor, West Ham, and it looks like with all 3 points.
Goal stands, and Burnley now got 5 minutes of added time to try and save themselves. That's 2 goals in just less than 2.5 minutes for West Ham United to turn what looked like a 4th straight Premier League away defeat into 3 points potentially. AFC Wimbledon 3, Notts County 2. Jake Reeves with a late penalty puts Wimbledon back in front. Salford 2, Milton Keynes 4, Ellis Harrison. Derby 2, Bristol Rovers 1, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang. Huddersfield equalised late against Southampton, that's 1-1. Ben Jackson for Huddersfield Town. Bolton 6, Exeter 0. Kyle Dempsey with the 6th for Bolton. And Blackpool 4-0 up at Portsmouth in League One. Ramsey for Burnley. Can't get through his man, it's back with Alphonse Areola. Lovely little dummy from Mubama, and away comes Saeed Benrahma up against Coutinho. Down the left-hand side of the box, Benrahma still going, pulls it back, looking for Paquetá, but he only found Josh Cullen, who can volley clear. Now Burnley have got to get the ball downfield quickly, but it's in the wrong half of the field for them. Rodriguez dispossessed, and West Ham somehow keep the ball in play. Emerson right in front of the West Ham bench finds Ward-Prowse. Emerson again. West Ham fans cheering every block pass or every tackle as they edge toward 3 points.
Oh, Dance, they're loving it, aren't they? Those West Ham supporters now. Long journey for them. Probably thinking they were going to come out this stadium with absolutely nothing. Another away defeat. But what a turnaround. Football is so cruel, it really is. And David Moyes, look, he might brush over the performance today, but he won't care. Coming away from home at a Burnley side who I think have played very, very well in this game. But that's what you have to do, and it's about putting the ball in the back of the net. They've had 2 big chances. They've done that in the second half. Massive win this could be.
Don't forget, Burnley fans and West Ham fans, the game day phone in at 5:30 over on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahor. Your first chance anywhere on national radio to react to today's footballing action. 03717 22 33 44. Speak to Jamie and Gabby, whatever side of claret and blue you support, about this game today and what it means.
It's so hard, isn't it, Danson? I mean, I'm looking across now at Vincent Kompany, and you didn't think 10 minutes ago he was going to probably go in front of the cameras and you're going to interview him, I'm sure, at the end of the game and say how well they played and they deserved all 3 points. And in the space of those 5 minutes, the conversation's just completely changed, and you do start to wonder. And it's horrible to do this, isn't it? But because you've done so well with them last season, but not winning football matches. We know what happens in the Premier League. Look, I'm not saying that they should get rid of somebody like Vincent Kompany, but where are these wins going to come from?
Mickey Gray alongside me, Ian Danter. Stoke 0, Blackburn 2. Andy Moran with the second for Blackburn. 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. Burnley 1, West Ham 2 on Talksport 2. What have Burnley got left in these last 90 seconds or so? Josh Cullen in the centre circle, feeds it out to the right-hand side for Vitinho. Plenty forward in claret and blue shirts. Vitinho's gone again to get a ball back down the right-hand side of the box. Good defending initially by Emerson, but Vitinho has it back. Knocked back for Josh Cullen. First time cross deep to the far post. Oh, and Charlie Taylor couldn't control it. Right on the dead ball line. Couldn't send it back across the face of goal. Just merely knocked it behind for a goal kick, which West Ham will take their time over. They lead West Ham by 2-1.
Well, it was a little bit bizarre, that, wasn't it? It wasn't the greatest ball into the 18-yard box, I have to say, initially, but when Charlie Taylor comes up from left back, all he has to do is just feed the ball back into the 6-yard box with his stronger left foot, and he tries to control it on the byline with his weaker right foot and just gets it completely wrong. We're running out of time here, Dance. Put the ball in the box, try and get something out of the game if you possibly can, but don't show quality like that.
Into the last 30 seconds of the 97 minutes that we have, plus whatever Sam Barrett wants to add on. Jake Young scores for Swindon. Mansfield, they're going to be their unbeaten run is over as well. Offside goes up against Aaron Ramsey. So Swindon 2, Mansfield 1. Bolton 7, brackets SEVEN. Close brackets, Exeter 0. Daniel Lundu gets the 7th for the Trotters. And we've now played the 97 minutes, and there are plenty of Burnley fans already long since left their seats in the Jimmy McElroy to our left and the Bob Lord opposite us to head home, disconsolate about a game they thought was theirs. and was theirs for long periods of the second half. Free kick to West Ham, sent downfield by Areola. Mubama goes up for a header, wins the flick on. Benrahma chases after it, but Vitinho gets there first. Paquetá tries to volley it goalwards, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. But will there be time for Burnley to get the ball downfield? All eyes on the referee at this point. Short goal kick from Trafford. It's played to Jordan Bayer. We still play on Talksport 2, but Burnley have still got the ball in their own defensive third. Back it goes to Trafford. He's got to get it downfield. Steps away from Obama, gives it to Josh Cullen. Cullen now scurries toward the halfway line. There goes the full-time whistle, and Burnley hearts are broken once again at Turf Moor. 6 successive Premier League defeats equals a record they've not had since the late 1800s. They stay bottom of the pile. They led though for long periods of the second half. After a goalless first period, Jay Rodriguez gave them the lead from the penalty spot after Koleosho was tripped. But then 2 goals late on, in less than 2.5 minutes, turned it around completely for West Ham United. A first Premier League goal for 19-year-old Divin Mubama got them level from Kudus' cross, and then Kudus again the supplier, a couple of minutes later, for Thomas Souček to brilliantly volley home at the far post and turn it around completely for David Moyes and West Ham. But Burnley once again, players kicking the turf. I look at Vitinho kicking the turf in frustration. They had it in their hands this afternoon, Burnley, and they've let it slip against the Hammers. Full-time score at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, West Ham United 2.
Well, what a second half. Ian Danta alongside Mickey Gray with commentary here on Talksport 2. It looked like Burnley were going to get there. They were going to get their first win since the last day of the Championship last year, the 8th of May. But West Ham absolutely broke their hearts there. Mickey, we spoke about, the players that could make a difference there. We spoke about Mohamed Kudus, who set up the first goal, and also Thomas Souček, who won the game.
No, absolutely. And what a finish to the game. And I think it all just boils down to naivety from the Burnley players, because they put in a brilliant performance, I have to say. Certainly deserve something from the game today, no question of that. But you've got to stay switched on, John, for 97 minutes, and they just did not do that. And I really feel for them, I really do. And David Moyes will be thrilled to pieces to come away with 3 points.
Yeah, he will, absolutely. We were talked half-time that they didn't look likely the most likely team to win, and to do what they've done is going to break the Burnley hearts. But also, does it heap more pressure on Vincent Kompany, still without that win at home since, as I say, last season? How long does he get to continue trying to do what he's doing before the higher-ups think, well, hang on a minute, we've got to start thinking about staying in this league?
Yeah, and I mean, John, you really hope that Vincent can turn it around. And from what I've seen today, he's certainly got the players on side and the supporters, I have to say that. But I touched on that word, and I'll do it again, naivety. If you get to 4 or 5 minutes before the end of a game and you're leading, you've just got to clear your lines, defend for your lives, as I said in commentary, and they didn't do that. Switched off on a couple of occasions, and they find themselves coming away from Turf Moor yet again with nothing. They've won 1 game this season in 13 Premier League outings. They've drawn a game, they conceded 32 goals, and they've only scored 10. It's not the Burnley what we saw last season, and they've got to try and figure out that formula of keeping clean sheets and scoring goals at the other end. And whether they have to wait until January to do that, to bring in the personnel or not, the quicker they can do it, the better it's going to be for themselves.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about Everton's 10-point deduction, which brings them down level on points, 1 place above Burnley at the bottom, so Everton 19th on 4 points. But with Luton Town currently winning 2-1 against Crystal Palace, that one's not quite finished. That would lift them out of the relegation zone, which we were discussing Burnley could do with a win today.
Yeah.
How much mentally, when you're a player and you're fighting down the bottom, although you're only sort of coming up to mid-season, however, teams like Luton, who were expected to maybe struggle more than yourselves, are making their way out of the relegation zone and showing that fight while you're still failing to convert things. How much does that affect you mentally?
Well, players will probably tell you, John, that they don't look at the league table. Well, they do, 100%. They look at the table. And I think of all the games that Burnley have played this season, barring the win against Luton, this will hurt more than the rest. Because you think to yourself in your head, you get 85, 86 minutes, you think, right, okay, we're a goal up here. we've got a massive chance of picking up 3 points and just about climbing out of the bottom 3. When that gets turned around in the space of 2 minutes from the goals from West Ham, it hurts like heck. It really does. There's a player and a manager. They'll be going back into that dressing room now. It'll be silent. They'll have to wait to see what the manager says to them, because it was a great performance, I have to say. But who cares about great performances? We'll pick up the newspapers tomorrow and we'll see Burnley 1, West Ham 2.